What's up, guys? Welcome to Reselling Bootcamp 2. I'm coming at you from Costa Rica. Today, I'm joined with several six-figure Amazon sellers. Super excited to have everyone here. You guys are going to learn a ton today. I'm about to go over everything that we'll be covering, but first, I want to introduce my speakers. We got Joji Davenport, who I think the most impressive thing about him is he puts aside $100,000 a year. It's cool to make money, but he's actually able to put aside $100,000 a year between him and his wife. He's working full-time as a chemistry teacher, but he's also flipping textbooks on the side, and that helps him make a lot of extra money. I believe you did like 30,000 profit last year, and you're probably going to clear 50K profit this year.
Oh yeah, easily.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And so Joey's going to be sharing some techniques on how to get textbooks and stuff like that. Then we got Mike, the used book guy, who's just all-around hustler. He's posting on YouTube all the time, hustling out of a storage unit. He knows everything about finding the deals, dirt cheap, so he'll be sharing some cool stuff with you. I'll be going over exactly what the speakers' topics are in just a second. Then we got John, Side Hustle Experiment, who I met a few years back in person in a bookstore. We were clearing out this bookstore that was closed down, and funny story, I was texting John, and I didn't realize it was the same John that was in the store. I didn't put it together, but he was one of my students who I was doing a coaching call with, and I'm like, oh, this is the same guy. And I've watched this guy grow over the last few years, and it's really, really impressive. He's transitioned from books to bulk books, doing books in like Gaylords and pallets, to now doing online arbitrage. And you're probably, what are your sales each month? 60, 70? Are you six figures plus a month now?
Not yet. I will be by probably October, November. We'll do 60 this month. We did a total rebuild, so we're climbing up. We did 40, 55, and we're probably on track for like 60-ish.
Awesome. Yeah. So pleasure to have you here, man. It's been awesome watching you grow over the last few years. And we also have Money Badger, who will be here soon. I think he's just getting off work, but he's got over 400,000 followers on TikTok. And he shares his journey, going to Goodwill bins, just little things about selling books. So we have him at the very end sharing some tips too. So any words, guys? Mike and Joji, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, Mike's the better half, so go for it, Mike.
I'm a full-time media seller, and my main sources are basically thrifting, right? That's all you kind of see out there is people going to thrift stores and, making an income from this. So all I do is, I go around to thrift stores, I scan all the media, the books, CDs, DVDs, and send them into Amazon. I operate out of a third-floor apartment, so all the books come all the way up 4 flights of steps and all the way down 4 flights of steps. So it keeps me fit and in shape. But yeah, that's me. Go ahead, Joji.
Cool. Yeah, so what's going on, everyone? My name is Joji Davenport. So as Avery mentioned, I'm actually a high school chemistry teacher. I'm on summer break right now, and I also sell books part-time on Amazon. So I do online book arbitrage. So contrary to Mike, I don't actually go to thrift stores to find books. I just do it from the seat at my house. And the reason for that is I have a full-time job. You have a newborn baby boy. He's actually 10 months old now. So the only time I can really source is like between 10 p.m. and midnight. So what I try to do is just find books on Amazon that are super undervalued, buy them when they're undervalued, and then just basically sell them for what they're actually worth. So that's kind of how my model works. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited for your talk too. All right, guys, let's dive into it. I'm going to put the speakers down real quick, and then I'll bring you guys up one by one. We'll be in a group text behind the scenes, so I'll let you guys know when you're up. And awesome. Let's get into it. Let me know if you guys can see my screen real quick, though. I'm going to pull this up. This is so cool. We're YouTube live on 4 channels right now.
Very cool.
That is awesome.
My screen showing?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect. I'm going to remove you guys. All right, let's dive into it. Put myself in the bottom left-hand corner. All right, so I will be covering the #1 strategy for finding high-profit books. And Joji, I'm going to nominate you. If anything crazy happens, just give me a phone call or shoot me a text message if my audio goes out or anything like that. So I'm going to be going over the #1 strategy for finding high-profit books. My name's Avery, a.k.a. Roma the Roamer. I've sold over 4 million on Amazon. I started selling on Amazon a few years back. I actually lived in my car for a while, traveling the country, going to thrift stores, libraries, and that's how I started my business. Now I'm here in Costa Rica. I run my business remote. I do a little bit more wholesale and online arbitrage now, but I still sell a lot of books. So I'll be covering the #1 strategy for finding high profit books, not just books that are going to make you a little bit of profit, but specifically the books that are going to bring those home run profits. And when you scan the books, on average, you know, you're going to get a higher percent profit. I'm going to tell you exactly where to find those books. Then Joji's going to go over how he sells 200,000 plus each year. I actually put this number a little bit lower. His goal is $250,000 this year. And he does this as a chemistry teacher part-time, and a chemistry teacher is a full-time job. So he does this, you know, I know Joji doesn't text during class, so he does this before school. He does a lot of work, and after school, and he's still able to sell $250,000 a year. He said he's going to be able to put well over 50K aside just from this business. So he'll be sharing you the exact techniques to be able to do that without ever leaving your house. This is not thrifting. He's able to buy books on Amazon and on other websites and resell them for more on Amazon. So really, really cool. Especially if you're already a bookseller, it's cool to add online arbitrage within the book space. Textbook arbitrage helps out a ton. Building relationships to get more profitable books. That's what Mike's going to be going over. And this is the key, guy. If you guys have just a few relationships in your book business, it can really bring tons of profit, and it makes your business way more easier. You're no longer fighting like crabs at the bottom of the barrel for the books that you're finding. You know, a lot of times you go to places like a thrift store or a library sale, and there's 10 other people around you trying to, you know, gather the scraps of profit that's left. But if you have relationships, you'll get books that no one else has access to. So be sure to watch until Mike. He's going to be sharing some pretty cool tips there. And then John's going to be sharing how to find profitable inventory from the comfort of your home. Now, this is everything. We're talking supplements, beauty products, and this is going to be coming from somebody who was a bookseller but now does online arbitrage. So, you know, it's one thing to hear somebody who does online arbitrage, but they never sold books before. But being able to hear someone who was once a bookseller, who once transitioned to bulk books and is now doing online arbitrage, I feel like it's going to really help you guys who already sell books or are starting to sell books to see how you can add online arbitrage to your business model to really beef up how much sales you're doing per month. Because as a bookseller, sure, you can get to 10, maybe 20K months if you're really hustling. But if you want to get to those $50,000 plus months, you probably have to add wholesale or online arbitrage or some other way of selling on Amazon. And this is all reselling. This is why it's called Reselling Bootcamp. These are all different strategies to resell. And then we're going to be going over how to sell 6 figures on Amazon while raising a family. So no excuses out there if you got kids, and how to make the most of dead stock books or duds. So if you want to learn how to make more profit on books that you thought weren't profitable, maybe you have a bunch of books in your house and half of them are profitable, half of them aren't. Maybe you purchased a pallet of books and there's a lot of non-profitable books. We're going to show you exactly how you can make profit on those dead stock books or duds. This is William Shirley, aka the Money Badger on TikTok. He's amassed a following of over 400,000. And the reason why he's amassed a following of 400,000 is he's sharing his journey going into Goodwill. He's sharing his journey finding and selling books on Amazon. And he'll be with us today. He's running a little bit late because he's just getting off work. And he's going to share those techniques on how to turn dead stock books, what we call duds, into profit. Okay? So I'm going to share real quick the #1 strategy for finding profitable books. And this was taught to me by my mentor. Comment below where you can find books, guys. Where do you find books? Thrift stores, libraries, college campuses. You can go to a recycler. You can go to a used bookstore. I'll read some comments below. Let's see if I can get to the comment section. I see Miss Resells in here. Marcia Pack. What's online arbitrage? Online arbitrage when you buy products online to resell online. Comment below some places to buy books. I'll give some shout outs in a second. I think my comments are lagged behind. The #1 place to find books, guys, is not thrift stores or libraries, because everybody has access to those books. If there's a library sale, the whole town has access. The whole city has access to that sale. The way to find the most profitable books is to find them go to people's houses. The most profitable books are in people's houses. Okay, so how the heck do you get in people's houses if they're not doing a garage sale or a estate sale? It's obvious if they're doing an estate sale, you can go into their house and scan their books. But what if they're not? Here's the #1 strategy, and I truly believe this. I truly believe that if you do this every single week, if this is all you do, you will have the highest % success in finding profitable books. And this strategy is simply posting on Nextdoor. You're going to download an app. It's called Nextdoor. And this app has you verify your address on it. It's a community-based app. And if you go on here and you post about your book business, literally all you have to post is, I have a used bookstore online, which is true. You're selling on Amazon. And you can put, if you have books that are not being read, if you have books that are not being used, I will come and pick them up from you at no charge, and I will find a home for them. Literally, that's it. Remind them of the fact that they have these heavy objects, paper, that are filled with knowledge that is not being used. Make them feel guilty about the fact that they have all these books that aren't being used and they're taking up space, and you can help them empty their shelves, get their books back into the hands of readers, and you won't charge them a penny. And what you're going to do is take all those books that you got for free. 90% of them won't be good. 10% will. 10% of books being good is usually the highest that I found as a cherry picker. That's the highest percent of books that you'll find is good. If you go to a thrift store and 2 to 3% are good, that's kind of average these days. You know, but if you get books from people's houses, if you get, I don't know, let's say 500 books, you can expect 50 of those books to really bring you in like $1,000 in sales plus. So finding books from people's houses, using Nextdoor specifically, download the Nextdoor app. I would post in it not just one time, I would post in it every single week. And when you get the books from Mary or Sue or Elizabeth, take a picture with that person that you got the books from and post that picture on the Nextdoor community app, and it's going to build, it's like the used book guy. People are going to know you as the book person, and it's gonna help out. So that's strategy number one. I'm actually going to share my screen real quick and show you guys the second strategy. What you can do is go to Facebook Marketplace, and you can just type in textbooks. Now, when you do this, you can use all the apps that we teach you guys how to use. If you're brand new to selling books on Amazon, you guys can go to starthumble.com and go through my free book selling course that teaches you A to Z how to sell books on Amazon for 100% free. You guys can go there and check it out. But if you guys have those apps, the Amazon Seller app, Scout IQ, you can use those apps and look at these books, and you can actually scan these books you can scan the cover of these books from your computer with your phone. I think I'm good. Sorry, somebody just called me. I'm gonna mute that. So you literally just take your phone out and you can scan on Facebook Marketplace with your phone on your computer. You can scan all these books here, and there's tons and tons of profitable textbooks. And what you'll do is offer the student about 25% of the sales price. So if the book's going for $100 on Amazon, you can shoot them a DM and say, hey, you know, would you take $25 for that book? I'll cover shipping. And then usually what I do is I pay them half up front and then half when they ship the book, or when the book gets delivered. So that way, you know, you protect yourself a little bit. And yeah, this is a huge technique that not a lot of people use. If you're in a small town, this is a great technique, because guess what? You can do this in a big city. Change your zip code to New York. Currently, this is San Juan, Puerto Rico, because I was in Puerto Rico a few months ago. You can change it to New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Nashville, Miami, wherever you're from. Change on Facebook your zip code, and you can simply have students ship you books across the country. And this is a great way to source profitable books. And also, you know, double check your city. Make sure that your town, wherever you're at, you know, go through here, type in textbooks, type in books. Somebody might have a huge book collection. And you can also do this on Craigslist too. So those are 3 places. You guys can do this on Nextdoor. Just post, hey, I'll pick up your books for free at no charge. You guys can do this on Facebook Marketplace, and you can also do it on Craigslist as well. Craigslist is, in my opinion, it's like the most basic one. It seems old school, but it still works. Trust me, if you post on Craigslist, you will get results. Is it okay if I share one more strategy with you guys on repricing real quick? A lot of people, they go out, they find a bunch of books, They think they've made the profit because these apps tell them that they're making profit. But at the end of the day, they haven't made any profit yet. You don't make any profit until you sell the book. And a problem that I see far too often is people find books and they sell them for far too cheap rather than selling them for what they're worth. So comment below, comment a 1 in the chat if you want a pro tip on how to make more money on those books. Renee says, yes, we got Joji always supporting with the 1 in the comments. Side hustle experiment. We got both speakers supporting hardcore. Type a 1 in the chat, guys, if you want. Otherwise, I'll just skip over it. This is a pro tip. We got Christina, Arrows Unbound. Corral Dylan says yes. The used book guy. We got Heavy Snowden, Elizabeth Brown, Patrick Curley. Perfecto, guys. And also, guys and girls, if you have any questions at all, I would comment them now, but I would also save them for later because we're doing a Q&A at the end. So we'll try and answer some questions as we're moving along here. But definitely at the end, we'll be doing a Q&A with all the speakers. Okay. How do I not exit out of this? Boom, I'm back. Okay. So here's a pro tip. Here's a pro tip, guys. If you're doing FBA, price against FBA offers. What's FBA? All FBA is when you take your book or your items, let's say you're doing online arbitrage like John's going to teach later, you put them in a box, you ship them to Amazon. Once they're at Amazon, Amazon ships and fulfills them to the customer for you. Why does Amazon like this? Amazon likes this because they can make the customer happy. Amazon is a customer-centric business. They care a lot about the customers. They care a little bit less about the sellers. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I got something going on. But what they do is they ship all their items to Amazon. All of us is what we do. And then Amazon fulfills the order directly to the customer, and the customer gets it in 1 to 2 days. And that allows the customers to be happy, experience fast shipping. So the point is, if you ship your items to Amazon FBA, the customer gets freakishly fast shipping. I want all you guys who have an Amazon Prime membership to comment Prime in the chat. I want you guys to see how many people have Amazon Prime memberships. I bet it's up to like 30% or 40% of the US population. It's crazy how many people have Prime memberships. Okay, so here's why it's genius to do FBA. Amazon tries to keep the prices low to keep the customers happy, and sellers suffer as a result. So remember, Amazon is consumer centric. They care about the customer. They don't care about the sellers as much. So this strategy allows us to maximize our profits as Amazon sellers. Amazon sellers, we want to make a profit. Amazon customers want to get the items cheap. We got to meet in the middle somewhere. I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can make more profit on your items rather than a lot of you guys are selling your books for far too cheap. And I'm going to show you some strategies on how you can make more profit. So it's actually really simple. The old way that people used to do this is manually reprice their books every day and waste hours and hours of time. The old way is let your books turn from profitable to trash because they sit far too long in inventory without selling. What happens when your books are in inventory too long? You get inventory fees, you get long-term storage fees, you got to pay removal fees, $2.83 per. All of this adds up, and a lot of people rely on softwares to reprice for them. And the problem with software repricing for you is Amazon doesn't give the software the information it needs to make intelligent pricing decisions. So the software reprices your inventory too low because Amazon only shows them the lowest 20 offers. And so if you're selling FBA and there's no FBA competition, Amazon's only going to show you the lowest 20 offers instead of the lowest 100 offers. What if you had the lowest 100 offers to compare to, then you could compare to price 51. And if you're the only FBA offer, you're probably going to get the next sale because somebody's going to want prime shipping out there. But instead, Amazon squeezes down what they share with these softwares to the lowest 20. So people end up, losing a lot of money. But I'm going to show you guys how to fix it. This is how you do it. You maximize the prime bump. You only compete with prime offers, especially as a beginner seller. This is how you're going to milk out so much more profit. Okay, listen to me when I say this, guys. You can go out and you can source 1,000 books with all these methods that we're going to teach you today. Those 1,000 books, 80% of them are going to sell. What I want you guys to experience is I want you guys to experience more profit on the books that sell instead of selling those books at dirt cheap prices that break even for you, don't really make you much of a profit. I want you guys to have a prosperous business. And you're going to be much more prosperous and much more profitable if you price your books only against prime competition. So you're only going to compare your offers to other prime sellers. Okay, this is just an overview. One more time, if you're doing FBA, you're packing your item and you're shipping it to Amazon. If you're doing FBM, you're actually keeping the book at your house or your warehouse, and when the customer purchases it from you, you're shipping it directly to the customer. The problem with that is you can't offer 2-day shipping because Amazon doesn't trust you to ship the item in 2 days. But if you ship it to FBA, Amazon assumes the responsibility to ship your book to the customer, and because of that, you can charge a lot more for it, even if Amazon doesn't want you to. You can price 20% plus. I put 20% because that's on average what you'll make more doing FBA, but you can charge 200% more and still get the sale. I sold a Jewish set of books that I got from a library sale in New Jersey for $2,000, and the lowest price was $1,300. And I was able to sell it for $700 more. That's almost double, just because I was the prime offer and the other person was selling it from their house or from their warehouse. So you're doing more by doing less. Not only is Amazon doing all the work prepping and packing the item for you, but you're also getting more money for your books if you're intelligent about it. What a lot of people do, though, is they send their books in and they're doing FBA, they're doing prime, and then they just compare against all offers. Oh, they're like, oh, they got this guy, the lowest person's $10. Let me be at $10 too. What I'm telling you guys is only compare against other offers that are prime offers. Here's another example. This textbook here. The lowest offer at the time was $128, and I shipped my book in. This is the same exact day. I checked this on Keepa. Same exact day. I sold my book for $193. So that is what is that, like a $63 difference or something? $65 difference in price, all because I could have matched his price and sold it for $128. That would have been good, right? $128 is not bad. But I got $193 because I knew that I should only be competing against other prime offers. I sound like a broken record here, but trust me, I make all these YouTube videos, I make all these TikToks, and there's still people out there that don't listen to my advice. I made an extra $700 in this set. This is the Jewish set I was talking about. You can see here. If you guys ever see this set at a library sale, pick it up. It doesn't have barcodes. You have to manually look it up. But made an extra $700 just for being the prime offer. So you can see how using this technique can increase your profits 25%. Can't you? Wouldn't it be nice if you got larger, consistent Amazon payouts? So you're going to get your Amazon payout regardless. You might as well make it bigger by pricing more intelligently. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Over at GoToLister, what we've done is we've allowed you to have smart pricing. So we'll just go to GoToLister.com here. And if you scroll down here, about halfway down the page, you'll see more profit in your pocket with no FBA alerts. This is on our GoToLister.com main page. And if we zoom in here, you can see that this software, as you're listing books, will automatically tell you when there's no FBA offers. So unlike other softwares like repricers and stuff, all softwares are blind to Amazon, even GoToLister is. But what we tell you that other softwares don't tell you is, hey, there's no competition. We don't know what the competition is. You know, maybe there are FBA offers, maybe there aren't, but we turn it purple and say there are 0 or there's very few FBA offers, consider pricing higher. And so this allows you to make a lot more money because a lot of times people just want the book shipped to them fast. So instead of selling your book for $10, when you list with GoToLister, you'll get notified, hey, don't price this for 10. There's 0 or few FBA offers. Price this at 20 or 30 and you'll get the sale. So then what you can do is further research. Joji is going to go over more of this in depth using Keepa, different things like that. But then you can open up the book, look at the prices, and make an intelligent pricing decision from that. We also have automatic pricing. So when we do have the information for the product, we're going to price it as high as possible for you. So if your book sells faster, GoToLister automatically prices your book higher. So that really helps our users make more profit on faster selling books. So not only do we automatically price your books at the highest price we think is good possible, we also notify you, hey, GoToLister is not smart enough and no software is smart enough to price this book. We turn it purple for you to go look at the other offers and say, hey, this book should be, maybe $29.99 when the lowest price is just $15. So you can easily make, 10, 20, 30 extra dollars on a book just by pricing it intelligently. Okay, so we'll be doing a giveaway today. And part of this giveaway is an exclusive 45-day trial. And you'll only get this free trial if you sign up for GoToLister and you email us at support@gotolister.com. So you have to email us Reselling Bootcamp. And another part of the giveaway, I'll go over everything, but one of the most exciting parts, I don't even have a picture of it. It's we're giving away a Rollo printer. So I'll grab a Rollo printer from the internet real quick. We're giving away a Rollo printer. So all you need to do is get a free trial of GoToLister, and then we'll extend your trial 45 days if you guys simply message us over at support@gotolister.com. I'm going to put this picture here so you guys can see it. So in addition, everyone who has a GoToLister account, even if you're on this call and you're already a GoToLister user, I know a lot of you guys are out there, you guys can enter this as well. Just shoot us an email, Reselling Bootcamp 2. So everyone who emails us, support@gotolister.com, everyone who emails us Reselling Bootcamp 2, this even goes for people watching the replay, what we're going to give you is a chance to win the Rollo printer. This is just for people live, obviously. But even for people watching the replay, you'll get my free repricing course. This is a course on how to set up an automated repricer. And all GoToLister users get this for free. This is Channel Your Profits. This is the best strategy I've come up with to reprice. Repricers, they're not perfect, but this doubled my units sold. Last summer, I started doing this. We have a lot of cool strategies where we reprice your items up at nighttime, and that boosted Scott Needham, he's an Amazon seller, that boosted his sales, his margin from 14% to 18%. And he does like 40 million plus a year. So he literally made a couple million extra simply by repricing his items up at night. So this is a repricing strategy where we show you how to set up your repricer so it raises your prices at night. On average, that's going to bring up all your prices, kind of like the same theme. Like if you're pricing prime, you should be pricing higher. And so we help you do that. And we help you match buy box and do a lot of other cool things. And then once we also help make sure that your items don't sit in Amazon too long, because you'll pay removal fees, you'll pay disposal fees, long-term storage fees. So this repricing strategy covers all of that. So this is free for all GoToLister users. If you're currently using GoToLister and you want this, just email us and we'll give it to you. I'll also give you my course. I charge $400 for this course, but everyone who uses GoToLister, I'll give you the book business blueprint. It's got over 100 videos showing you how to build your book business. I'm giving this away to everyone who has GoToLister. So just everyone who signs up, you're automatically going to get all this stuff in an email sent to you. But if you're already a user and you want access to this, you can also email us as well. So just to recap, you're going to get an exclusive 45-day trial instead of our regular 14-day trial. So you have 45 days to test the fastest listing software on the planet. You're also going to get my $400 book selling course. You'll get my complete repricing copy and paste template. Anyone who's coming over from AccelerList or ScanLister, or maybe you're paying extra for Inventory Lab, any of those people who are coming over, just shoot me an email and my team will set up a one-on-one call and I will personally help you transfer all your data. It's super easy. We have a video that explains it, but some people are really paranoid about transferring from one software to the other because they don't think their data will transfer. I can show you just how to download a few reports from Inventory Lab or from AccelerList, and I can easily get it set up for GoToLister. So GoToLister helps you list products, and it also shows you the profit you're making on those products with our profit analytics. So not only are we the fastest listing software on the planet, but we also give you insights into your business and the health of it overall. And we get a chance to win the Rollo printer. All you gotta do is email us Reselling Bootcamp 2 at support@gotolister.com. And at the very end of this call, we'll be doing the giveaway. And This is for a Rollo printer. This is my favorite printer. I think it's by far superior to the Dymo, and it's been amazing using it. You can get free UPS labels for life if you set up a UPS account, and you can also get FNSKU labels. They're pretty cheap, and they're compatible. Rollo's compatible with like all the labels on Amazon, so you'll actually save a lot of money by having a Rollo in the long run. You never have to pay for ink. It's a thermal printer, so it actually burns the what looks like ink on there, and yeah, so pretty cool. All right, guys, and at the end I'll be giving some shout outs to everyone who signed up for GoToLister, but be sure after you sign up for GoToLister to go to email us Reselling Bootcamp 2 at support@gotolister.com. All right, Mr. Davenport, let me get you up here. Ready to rock and roll? I'm sure I didn't teach you anything new there.
I mean, it's always good to listen and just see what's going on. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's good.
You're the pro. I'm gonna let you take it away with
sounds good.
You know, showing people how to make money from their house. And for everyone who's just joining, Joji is a chemistry teacher. He saves $100,000 a year between him and his wife. He does this part-time. He's going to sell over $250,000 this year, and I'm super excited for the strategies that he's going to share today.
All right, let's do it. Let me go and share my screen.
Yes, sir.
We'll get right into it. All right.
Oh, real quick, guys, we got the Money Badger in the house.
The Money Badger.
What's good, brother? How you doing? Oh, your audio's off.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Pretty good, man. I was just explaining to people how you amassed a following of 400,000 individuals simply by going to Goodwills, and how impressive that is.
It's great. It's just a testament to how much people really want to just learn how to do something they can really control themselves. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So excited to have you talk later on, man, and show people.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to hear Joji
talk. Cool.
All right, brother. Cool, Joji. I'm going to get your screen up here, and I'll let you take it away.
Sounds good. All right. Everyone can see my screen. A2A flips.
Let me boom, get you there. Yep, you're good to go.
The A2A flips. All right. So what's going on, everyone? My name is Joji Davenport. I'm a high school chemistry teacher and also an online book arbitrage seller. That means I don't actually go to thrift stores or library sales, buy books locally. I just buy them online. And the way that I do that is I try to fundamentally figure out if a book is undervalued or below market value. So today, specifically, we're talking about Amazon to Amazon flips and 3 sourcing strategies that you can use with a Keep a subscription, which is only like a $20 a month subscription, to find books that are undervalued that you can buy and then resell for what they're actually worth. Okay, so first thing that I want to kind of show you is that they're actually, this idea of like flipping from Amazon to Amazon is not new. There's actually 3 major softwares out there. There's eFlip, Zen Arbitrage, and Master Book Flippers. And if you've been in the book game for a while, you know, or you've probably heard about one or a couple of these. But what's interesting is that they all cost, at least $79 a month to use them. And inherently, the way that they work is by trying to exploit the prime gap. So just to give you a little understanding of, what that means, basically, kind of what Avery went over, when you're an Amazon seller, you can basically sell your book as a merchant fulfilled seller. That means you store the item at your house and you ship it out yourself, or you can sell via, Amazon FBA Prime. And obviously, most of the time, if you're, Prime seller, you're going to generally see more sales because, a lot of people have Prime subscriptions and they want the book, quicker. But inherently, what these softwares do is try to exploit the difference between a low merchant offer versus a very, very high inflated buy box. So here's a great example of a book that you could buy for $6, $7 plus shipping, but then the buy box on Amazon is actually $62. So like the difference between those two prices is like over $50. So while I do definitely, sometimes exploit the buy box, usually not by that much. Like most people are not willing to spend $50 more for a book if it's inherently worth less than $10. So, just to give you an example, here's the actual listing of that book right now on Amazon. I actually took this picture a while back with these little offers here and with this buy box here. And you can actually see that my point is actually, it's kind of proven where, like, if you look at the buy box today, it's actually $13.24. And the reason why it's much lower is because this is kind of right in line with what the book's worth, right? If you go down to Keepa, which is a software that we as Amazon booksellers try to use to figure out what books are worth, you can see that this black line here, which represents the lowest used price over time, like over the last 3 months, it's never been above $10. And we do see this green line, which is called sales rank dropping. That is going to give us an indicator of when books sell. And so what we can see is like, this is a book that generally only sells for $10. So having a buy box at $60 up here is, usually going to be very unrealistic. And so kind of those softwares, the case I'm making is that those softwares mainly try to inflate the buy box. And the point is, what I try to do is not inflate buy boxes. What I try to do is truly buy undervalued books and then sell them for market value. So, a lot of people, I think when they hear this concept are like, dude, that's crazy. You can buy a book online and resell it online. But inherently, I just want you to let you know that's no different than what you're doing. Like if you're going to a library sale and you buy a book for $1 and you sell it for 20, the same principle applied. You bought an undervalued book because you bought it for $1 when it was really worth 20, and then you sold it at market value for $20. So instead of buying a book for $1 and selling it for 20, I'm buying a book for $20 and selling it for 70. So that's kind of the way that it works. And just to give you a little bit of proof, here are my sales year to date. So actually today's a special day. So this is year to date to July 24th. I just cracked $150,000 in sales. So, again, my goal by the end of the year is 250K, and I'm really actually going to try to stretch it to 300K. And over here on the left is kind of my spreadsheet showing how much money I've spent on books this year, how many books I purchased. So right now, as of this year, my average book cost is just under $20, and my average sales price is right around 73. So that means that the average book that I find on Amazon, I'm buying for $19.57 and flipping for 73. So the margin on that is pretty crazy. And last year I sold $100,000 in books, made about $30,000 profit. This year, the goal is to hopefully sell at least $250,000 worth of books. And the idea there is that, about a third of that would actually be take home net profit, because again, the margin on me selling this book is actually pretty good. You can see that as of right now, like this year, the average profit per book that I buy is about $36. And you can see that as of this year, from July or January 1st today, I've sold 2,092 books using this, thing that I'm going to show you, just using Keepa as a software, which you only have to pay $20 a month for. So first strategy to find these undervalued books is using Keepa alerts. And what this simply means is whenever a book becomes undervalued, you can, or what I say is if you come across a book that potentially could become undervalued, you can set an alert with Keepa to basically have it notify you through an email or a text message for whenever that book gets to a price at which you deem it being undervalued. So here's a really great example of a book that I set a tracker for. You can see I bought this for $43. You can see there's the actual screenshot. I just sold it 2 weeks ago for $199. And if you go down to the actual Keepa chart, you can see this little circle that says where I bought it versus where I sold it at. And what I want to do is actually show you the real listing. Like here's more evidence, right? April 26th, that's the day that I bought it. You can actually see that right now, if you were to buy this book, it's a $200, buy box book. If you want to buy, the lowest use price is $148. But the point is, if we go down to the Keepa chart and we look at when I actually bought this, you can see that there's this little dashed line here on the Keepa chart, and that's my tracker. So I was tracking this book for right around $45, and on April 26th, for whatever reason, the price of this book got to that amount, and I went back to the Keepa chart and realized, like, hey, if we look at the historical past and we look at when this book was selling, it was selling north of like 130, north of 140, even up to 160. And if you expand the data to the last 4,300 days, you're like, okay, this book has had multiple sales rank drops over $100, over 130, over 140. So, all these little dips in price, back in history, this went down to 1870 back here in 2019. There's a lot of times where books can become undervalued. So if you have these trackers set, you can buy the books when they're undervalued and then you can flip them. So there's just one example of a book, right? And if we look at SellerAmp, the buy cost was 47, the sales price was 199. So I made $112 profit on that book. I never left my house. I literally just bought it on Amazon and then resold on Amazon as well. So here's another example of a book as well. This is called The Monster Hunter. So another book that I set a tracker for. This one, I kind of want to show you some of the lower tier flips. So this is a book I bought for $12.12. And you can see I actually bought 2 copies. I was able to sell both of them for 57. Same sort of strategy. If we come down here to Keepa, what you notice is that, when I bought this book, you can see the price, was basically $42. There's basically a repricing war between two sellers. Is probably like Goodwill, Thrift Books. There's basically these very large booksellers who have so much inventory that they have such aggressive reprices that they kind of just undercut each other. And it can get to the point where, you could really erode the value of a book very quickly. So anyways, I had a tracker. Again, you can see that dashed line at the bottom. I was tracking this for $15 and it basically went down to about $9 plus shipping. I was able to pick up a couple copies for right around $12, $13. And again, thinking about what this book was valued at, if you just look at kind of the most recent sales before that, you see that again, that this lowest used price when the sales rank is dropping is right around $50. And again, if we look at this book over the last 4,000 days, right, because this is a book that and this came out over a decade ago, right? So there's plenty of history to see what this book is sold for. You can see like in 2020, 2021, 2022, like this is a book that has held, value north of 30, north of $40. So if I'm able to buy it for about $12, I mean, that's a pretty good deal, right? So in any case, I was able to buy this a couple times for $12, flip it for 55. And again, I was able to buy that because of a tracking notification. Okay. So that's just one strategy with the Keep a Track product feature. And let me show you how that would work, by the way. So once you have a Keep a subscription, right above the actual Keep a chart, this is where you'd find it. It's called Track Product. And you can see I'm already tracking this product. But if I click Update Existing Tracking, this is where you would go ahead and say, what price do you want to track this book for on Amazon? You could even include shipping if you want. And so, you can see right now, basically I'm tracking this book for about $15. Okay, so that's just the first of 3 strategies that you can use with Keepa. That was called Keepa Alerts or Keep a Track product feature. The second one is using the Keepa Deals page. And the way Keepa Deals works is you're trying to find books that see one-time large drops in prices. Okay, and again, this would be found over on Keepa.com. So if I just type in Keepa.com, and we come over here, there's this tab called the Deals tab, and basically you can sort for used books. So you can see right now I'm looking at used in terms of a condition. I'm looking at a drop interval over a day. You basically set very, very basic parameters for books that have seen a certain percentage drop, a certain dollar drop, and then you can sort by like the newest first. And these are all potential, books that may have seen, drops in price. So, here's one live that we're just looking at. Like, look at the most recent 3 sales rank drops in this book, 48, 43, 43. And then you can see right now you could buy this book on Amazon for about $13.22. That's about a third of the price, right? So that's the idea of how Keepa Deals works. Now, to give you some real examples of books that have actually sold, like here's a book, the Old Testament. I bought this for $21. Was able to flip it 2 months ago for $94. So if we go over to Keepa, one thing that you notice is that, again, here's actual evidence that I bought it on Amazon, bought this on April 3rd. And if we look at April 3rd, it's this period of time where basically the price of this book dropped from $84 down to about $17 plus shipping. Again, I looked at Keepa. It was like, okay, the last 3 sales rank drops are north of 75. And, granted, this is a book that has kind of like a terrible sales rank, honestly. But if you look at the last 3,000 days, this is a book that has almost always been north of $50. Like, it has had sales rank drops as high as 70, even, this one's as high as 79 as well. But this is a book that doesn't flatline at $5 or $10. This is a book that since 2015 has almost always been above 40 or $50. It just happened to be that one day someone decided to list this book for a really cheap price. Not sure why that is. Could be a new seller, could be a big bulk seller trying to get rid of inventory. I don't know what it is, but in any case, was able to flip this for 94, which is honestly a little bit inflated because this book's probably worth right around 60 or 70. But you can see that, flipping it for 90 made a $49 profit. I think more realistically, I probably should have sold this for about 75 and made like a $32 profit. But that's what I mean. I still do try to exploit the buy box if I can a little bit, but that's how that works. Here's one more example of Keepa Deals as well. This is actually a really great example of a faster moving book. So this is called Sensory Integration in the Child. You can see I bought this for $32 on Amazon, and I bought 2 copies, sold both for $81. And if we look at Keepa again, notice that the sales rank of this graph is much better, right? So this book is selling much more often, and you can see there are these two one-time large drops in prices. And I actually have the Keepa page pulled up here. So once again, you can see I did buy this on April 3rd. And if you come down here to April 3rd, you can see the price of this book went from $74 all the way down to $32. So literally the value of that book was cut in half in just in a 1 day period. And I looked at Keepa and said, this is a book that has multiple sales rank drops north of 60, north of 70. So truly, I'm buying a book that's undervalued. It shouldn't be that cheap. It should be selling for 60 to 70. So I decided to buy a couple copies, was able to sell them. Okay. So that's basically how Keepa Deals works. And the last kind of more complicated way to use Keepa is using the Keepa Product Finder tab. So up here under data, if you come over to data and you go over to Product Finder, you can set up, literally like hundreds of different parameters to try to envision a book that you want to find. And this tool takes a little bit more creativity, but I would say this is definitely more an advanced tool. But the point is you can find undervalued books using Keepa Product Finder as well. So here's a really great example. This is the Lord of the Rings 3-volume book set. This thing came out a long time ago. I bought 4 copies basically on the same day, all March 22nd. Bought them all around $19 to $20 to $21. And again, if we look down, and here's actually real sales from my Amazon page. So 2 months ago, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, sold for basically $125 each time. And the reason for that is because I bought it when it became super undervalued. Again, there's repricing wars between mega booksellers. I took advantage of that, said, hey, this book said super undervalued. Let me go and buy it and resell it for what it's actually worth. So again, let's go and take a look at the real Amazon page. You can see I bought this on March 22nd. You can see if we scroll down to the Keepa chart, when I actually bought this on March 22nd, you can see there, this book went from, $46 all the way down to about, $12 plus shipping. And if we look at the most recent sales rank drops before that, we say, hey, there's a collection of sales rank drops at $110. There's a couple sales rank drops here at 50. There's a sales rank drop here at 114. If we look at the last 2,000 days, I mean, you can see in 2021, 2022, there's even sales rank drops as high as $225. So there's precedent of people willing to spend that much money for this 3-volume book set in used condition. By the way, it's not like this is a new series. Like this came out in 1965. Like this 3-volume book set is like almost older than my dad, right? And this is a book that now we can set trackers for in the future. So you can see this line coming down the Keepa graph. I actually started tracking this book because it's possible in the future that this could happen again. Like you can see last September, the price of this dropped down to $9. So obviously picking up a copy there would have been amazing. But I basically picked up 4 copies for 21 so far. 3 of the 4 have sold for 125. So you can see per book set, I made about $75 profit per book set. And so just to give you one more example, here's a book that I'm sure a lot of you have seen before, especially if you're doing Facebook Marketplace sourcing, OfferUp sourcing, if you're on college campus, because this is a book that's actually very popular. And if you're gated in popular textbooks, you probably can't even sell this book as a hardcover, but you a lot of times can still sell the loose leaf. So here's an example of a loose leaf that I think I bought like 12 or 13 copies of. And I bought them all around for about $35 to $40 because, this became super undervalued at one point, I think back in April. And you can see, here's my order page, basically sold all of them for about $95. And, here's it kind of just blown up a little bit further. But if we actually look here at the Amazon webpage, you can see there's real evidence, right? I purchased this on April 27th. If we scroll down to the Keepa chart again, you can see that April 27th is, basically this point in time where you can see this is obviously a textbook that has great sales rank seasonality in August, September, and January, February. You see that sales rank have that stereotypical U shape. But this is a book that I've sold as a loose leaf, have sold plenty of times in the past. I know that this actually holds value. There isn't even a new edition of this book out yet. So I noticed that when this book was down to $36, that this is an undervalued book, and you can see what happened. There's a little bit of a May textbook season. The price of this book went back up, and I was able to sell basically all 13 copies. And I was basically able to buy 13 right around $40 and flip them all for 95. So not as great of a margin, but still 66%. Made about $26 per book. So I made well over a couple $100 just on this one book. So those are 3 different sourcing strategies for you to use using Keepa. And shameless plug here. I have a YouTube channel where I teach you how to do this. So it's just at jojidavenport.com. I'll put it in the chat later on as well. But yeah, I'm a teacher at heart. I want to show people how to do this. And I know a lot of people find value in the videos I make. I also have a free Discord group that you can join if you want. So I'll go ahead and put that also in the link as well.
Everyone should be able to subscribe by clicking on in the YouTube subscribe area. I think it should be all of us to subscribe to. I don't know what it looks like as a viewer, but everybody subscribe to Joji and other speakers if you like what they say. If you like what I'm saying, you're coming from a different channel, you can just subscribe to me. So cool. Really appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
We're going to have you on for the Q&A in a little bit here.
Sure. Sounds good.
Sweet. All right. Let's move on. Next up, we got Mike, the used book guy. But before we dive into that, real quick, I want to show you guys. We had a question. Somebody was asking what GoToLister was exactly. So not only can you list books with GoToLister, but you can list everything. So if you have supplements, I'll put myself back up real quick. Literally, if you have supplements, tea, grocery, Band-Aids, you can list everything on GoToLister. So I'm going to show you super fast how to use the fastest listing software on the planet, and then we'll move on. So let me see here. Boom. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Okay, so here is not only do we help you list, but we also show your profit. So shout out to Jenna. I'm here in Costa Rica, and she's actually letting me borrow her GoToLister account since my Amazon account was shut down a few days ago. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but I'm using her account now for demonstrative purposes. You can see she's at 9,000 in sales. She's 100% books. She paid $822 for those books sold. She was able to see all this from GoToLister because as she's listing her books, she's documenting what she's paying for her books. Then GoToLister knows that she paid $4,000 in fees for those books that sold, and she's left with a total profit of $3,900. And she can see on a daily basis how much profit she's making. She's going to a waterfall right now. I'm back here at the house. Taylor Jones is taking them out, and you can see she's already made $81 profit today as a bookseller. And she had a pretty nice day back here. She did 847. She must be messing around with some retail arbitrage or something. She's getting her sales up there. So profit reports, if you guys are already GoToLister users, be sure to check out that profit tab. We put that there so you guys can have faith that you're doing the right things in your business. And then real quick, this is how you make a shipment on Amazon. You go to fulfillment by Amazon, ship to Amazon. You can type in your batch name. I usually like to put today's date, so 7/24 Costa Rica. Wi-Fi is pretty good for Costa Rica. Then smart pricing allows you to price your books higher to make more profit. Again, this works for all items, but smart pricing is optimized for books. So if you're a bookseller, smart pricing is going to help you make more profit on your faster selling books. We price your faster selling books a little bit higher automatically. And we also notify you, like I said earlier, whenever we put purple around the book, whenever we think that you should take a look into the book, like Joji was talking about, and look for those prime gaps and price your books a little bit higher. So who labels? I want to label my own books. I recommend labeling your own books. Otherwise, you pay Amazon 30 cents per book. And then we actually have box contents. I won't go over it in this video, but you're able to provide box contents as well. And then I'll show you why this is the fastest listing software on the planet. So you can select whatever source you want, put your buy cost in. Condition note, I recommend a generic condition note because people don't really read those. So 100% satisfaction guaranteed, ships direct from Amazon. Now we're ready to rock and roll. So you can take any product. I got this tea here. I got some supplements here. And then I got this book here. So I can scan this book in. And this is the fastest listing software on the planet because you can scan, see how many times I'm scanning here. Every time I scan, it's listing. So if I have one book here in Costa Rica, but if I had 20 books, I could list 20 books as fast as I could pick each book up, put it in the box. And no other listing software out there allows you to list that fast. We allow you to list faster than Amazon returns the response. Sometimes Amazon's overloaded with all the requests they have, and their software doesn't respond in time. So what we've allowed you to do is scan as fast as you want. You don't have to wait for Amazon to return the FNSKU label that you put on your book. And you can just scan as fast as you want, and it queues it up, and then Amazon can process it at their own speed, but you don't have to slow down in your living room. So you can literally list books 2-3 times as fast with GoToLister. You can easily toggle the condition here. And then if you're listing a book, like let's say you stumbled across that Jewish set, that $2,000 Jewish set, type in Talmud 22. If you don't have a barcode for the book, no worries. Just type it in. You can scroll through the options here and select what book it is. Also, you can see there's 2 problem items. Jenna is not approved to sell supplements, and she's also restricted in tea. She can't sell tea. So you can easily click on apply for approval here, and this opens up Seller Central and allows you to request approval. So anyone that was confused about what GoToLister does exactly, not only does it help you list books faster, and speak of the devil, 0 FBA offers on this listing. We notify you when there's an opportunity to make more money. So this book's currently priced at $15, but we might be able to price it a little bit higher. The sales rank on this book's pretty high, so I'd probably keep it at 15. But if this was a lower sales rank book, I would manually price it higher. And remember, if GoToLister has the data from Amazon, GoToLister automatically prices this stuff, your items higher for you. So not only do we show your profit in the batch and help you list items fast, we also show your profit analytics for the whole year, for the last 30 days. You can download this, export it, give it to your CPA so your CPA knows what, if you sold $300,000 on Amazon, you're not going to pay taxes on all that. You're only going to pay taxes on what Amazon paid you minus all your costs. So your buy cost, gas, all that stuff. So this helps you get your gross profit out of the way. And yeah, that's GoToLister, guys. Again, all you got to do is go to gotolister.com. It's 100% free trial today. And for anyone that emails us Reselling Bootcamp 2, we'll give you 45 days free trial automatically. When you sign up right now, you have a 14-day trial. But when you email us, my team will manually tag a 45-day trial. It's not going to charge a credit card at all until 45 days. And that's going to put you in the running for this right here. This Rollo printer, $200 value. Never pay for ink again. And I think it's the best printer in the market. Anyway, back to the boot camp, guys. Let's get back into it. Next up, we got Mike talking about relationships. You talking about what type of relationships? We talking love? We talking Tinder, Bumble? We talking how you getting these deals, bro?
Any way you can, right? It is funny though to think about. I tried to pay Joji to do like a PowerPoint presentation for me because I haven't done one since like 8th grade, but he said, nah, you're on your own. So you just gotta, deal with looking at my ugly mug and not Romy here because, he's got a little bit of experience when it comes to thrifting books. But relationships, it is so hard to have a Amazon media business based just off thrift stores, right? Unless I would say you probably need around 75 plus thrift stores. If your only thing is going to be walking in the thrift store and literally just, you're going to go in, you're going to scan, you're not going to talk to anybody, that's the end of the line, right? You have to have so many thrift stores. So I think a lot of people get mixed up is I'm going to start thrifting and flipping these books. But you realize, wait a minute, I only have 5 thrift stores around me. What am I going to do? I can only go in these 5 thrift stores, every so often. Some of my thrift stores I go to every 2 weeks. Some of them go probably about, 3 months. I have some thrift stores I don't go to unless it's once every 3 months. So these are all crazy. But yeah, so first thing I got for you all, business cards. I mean, they're super cheap to make here. And I know people don't want to put like their, because I get this a lot, right? You want your phone number being out there, right? But I highly recommend making it super easy for anybody to just text you or call you. So I got over the hump of not caring about my phone number being out there because we all get spam calls all day long anyway. So I figured, hey, I might as well have it out there if I'm trying to flip books and everything. So this is the route I went. Business cards, my wife made them for me. Just something that's kind of eye-catching, right? So you're probably thinking, well, what are you gonna do with a business card? And the one firefighter guy you had on, I remember, and he would go around to the little libraries and scan all the books. I said, you put a business card inside of every dug you put in that little library. So whoever comes along and grabs that book, they're a reader, they probably have other books. All of a sudden, you're getting texts, phone calls. Hey, this is how, I got books. You want them? Sure. The next biggest thing is a flyer. You probably think, oh, who really messes with like tear flyers anymore, right? These things are a thing of the past. I throw these up in every gas station, every laundromat in my whole neighborhood, and you'll be amazed at the results you get, right? So sure, you guys follow me over on YouTube. I have a thrifting video once a week, and that's like one thrift store out of the 75 plus I have, within my routes. The main, like Romer was saying, the good stuff comes from other people's personal collection. You have to basically, we talk about looking upstream. You don't want to be looking downstream when you're thrifting. And the thrift store is basically the end of the barrel, the Goodwill bins. And honestly, around me, the bins have closed. I had 2 Goodwill bins around me, and they have since basically closed their doors. So I'm trying to think outside the box here, right? And Craigslist, you said Nextdoor. Well, Nextdoor sucks for me, dude. I have an ad there. I haven't got a single hit on Nextdoor to this day. I keep the ad there, right?
Where are you located?
I'm in Harrisburg. I'm actually like 15 minutes from John. Coming up next. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I go to all his old thrift stores when he used to thrift before he got into bulk. It's pretty crazy to think.
We were right by you, John. Where did we go when we were up there in Pittsburgh? Or not Pittsburgh? Where was it? Harrisburg? Where were we? That when we went up to Pennsylvania?
Philly.
Yeah, we were in Philly.
Philly, okay.
Yeah, we were right outside Philly when we did it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm literally in all the thrift stores John used to. You know, he relives his old days through my YouTube channel. He's like, damn, I remember being in there 5 years ago. Well, Don, they all suck now, dude. You're not missing much.
It's so funny to watch you like do the content because like I remember like all those thrift stores exactly. Like when you were like getting out of your car, I was like, I know exactly where it is. I don't have to see the rest of the video.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, so like you can't just rely on thrift stores, even if you have a lot of them, right? You want backdoor relationships. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible to get backroom access. I know it's kind of like, oh man, it's impossible to get backroom access. Well, what happens if you just go in and you shoot your shot, right? You go in and say, hey, I kind of spin it like the way you spin it, right? I have an online media selling business. I support my family and my kids, which are my four cats with this. So, right, I got no shame in my game, right? And just be straight up with people. And I have library access. So you probably think, what's library access for somebody? Well, my library doesn't take donations and keep them if they're over 3 years old. So unless it's a newer book, they're automatically putting that in the pile for me. So every month, every 3 weeks, I get a text, hey, we got a car full of books for you to come pick up. So all I do is go to the library, fill my car up with free books. I don't have to pay anything. I donate to the library just because if you have one of these relationships, I always think it's good to kind of like, I don't know, it's good faith, good juju, good karma coming back to you. So I always donate to the library, and this is something that could go on forever, right? This library is probably going to be around, longer than we are. So every month I have a free, somebody said library. People don't like it when I pronounce library, all right? I was born and raised in Philly, right? And in
Is that how they all say it up there?
It's different, man. Like we say, like in the city, you say water. You don't say water. It's water, like water, right? Yeah. So like library is like, it just drives people nuts when I say it, but that's, you deal with it, right? So every month I get a free car pickup full of books I pay nothing for. And you better believe the people that are donating this stuff, it's like Romer was saying, it's all people's private collections. Maybe somebody passed away. Maybe it was an estate sale. They couldn't get rid of their stuff. And I get it all for nothing. And how did I wind up with the library? Did I walk into the library and, yell at people, say, hey, what are you doing with all these books you're getting? I actually got it through my Craigslist ad, right? So Craigslist is like my go-to when it comes to Facebook or Nextdoor. Craigslist has been really, really good for me. I don't know if it's because a lot of older people still use Craigslist, but library reached out to me and said, hey, we have books that are coming. And before I actually got in with the library, they were actually driving the books to a thrift store. The volunteers, which most volunteers at the library or are older senior citizens, they were loading up. They even told me that we're all loading up our little Priuses, driving them to the thrift store to donate them. And these are, 60, 70-year-old ladies. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is crazy to me, like that this even exists. So there's tons of opportunity out there when it comes to, building relationships and being in back rooms. Shameless plug here. I have a YouTube channel. It's basically the reason I exist here today, right?
Subscribe, guys.
I have a membership, and we do like weekly coaching calls and everything. So like I get a little bit of an insight when it comes to people having backroom access. So I can tell you right now, there's people that have backroom access to basically a state full of Goodwills. So you can still get backroom access at Goodwills, Savers, and believe it or not, I have somebody that has backroom access to Dollar Trees. So you're probably thinking, well, you're going to get a Dollar Tree. Well, whatever comes into Dollar Trees, he gets to go in the back and check it out before it hits the sales floor. So get in the mindset of just saying who you are and what you do. Like, you want to be known as the used book girl or guy in your area. At the end of the day, if somebody has books, you want to be the person they reach out to. You want to have flyers all over the place. You want to have business cards. Every conversation you have with somebody, they get a business card with your name and phone number. Reach out to basically clean out companies, estate sale companies. There's so many different ways to attack this business than besides what you just see on YouTube. And I think a lot of the YouTube reselling is, hey, look, I'm just in a thrift store. Well, honestly, the business only works. You can't just rely on the thrift stores at the end of the day. So you got to get smarter about it, and don't rely on the thrift stores, because me and Romer can go to 10 thrift stores tomorrow, and there's no guarantee we're going to leave with any books. So it's like, it's a time waste, a time sink when it comes to these thrift stores. And we all know most of the thrift stores now are scanning the stuff themselves. So it's like, hey, what are you going to do? All of a sudden, say if you got one really Goodwill, right? You got one Goodwill that's actually good, and they decide to start scanning all their media. Well, you're screwed because that was your only option, right? That was the only place you went to and you were making decent money from. So yeah, business cards are super cheap. You can design them right on Vistaprint. You can get like 500 of them for like 20 bucks. I do also have a car magnet with my name. I just didn't bring it up here. It's down on the car. That'll cost you about 20 bucks too. You just make it, something that stands out. Don't choose your favorite.
How many leads have you gotten from that?
What was that?
How many leads have you gotten from the car magnet?
I can't tell because they're all just my name and the phone number. So
you never asked, like, do you guys see me driving my car?
I used to be able to when I did Craigslist before I had my phone number right in the ad. So I would know if somebody emailed me, it would be from Craigslist versus like my flyers. But yeah, I think as much as you can get it, you just got to be out there and everywhere you can. And a lot of this stuff's free. Like you can post a Craigslist ad for free, Facebook free, Craigslist free. All these things are free to you, and you got to start thinking outside the box. You can't just be another thrifter. And I have competition in my area when it comes to free pickups and thrift stores, but I really don't worry about it, right? The competition's always going to be there. Just work smarter, not harder at the end of the day. And there's so much money and there's always going to be so much media out there to scan. And I know I'm the used book guy, but you got to branch out into other forms of media. Like, I'm not saying change your whole business model, right? I'm not trying to do what Joji's doing, but you better believe I've been crushing DVDs and the CDs this year, right? Media is usually found in the same place. So sure, my business card says free book pickup, but when I'm sitting there, hey, do you have any CDs or DVDs you're looking to get rid of? There you go. There's your other end automatically, right? Usually people that have books usually have some kind of CDs or DVDs. So don't think you just got to focus on just books because, oh, well, I'm ungated in books because I just started. Well, we all know Christian book, iNet video, you get ungated for 20 bucks. I always tell everybody, get in on this while it exists because this never existed before. You used to have to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get ungated. So get smarter about it. And I'm going out to dinner with the wife here, so I'm going to take a few questions before I wrap up my part on relationships, if anybody has.
Yeah. For sure. Tiffany was asking if restricted inventory still is up and running. Yeah, restricted inventory is fine. We sell all of our textbooks on our partner's account. He only sells textbooks. He's EPEG approved, so he checks for counterfeits. And yeah, so you can still send books to restricted inventory. My CD and DVD accounts are down for those of you interested in media, but we should be back up and running soon if they ever respond to my tweet storm.
I got a funny story about picking up another Amazon seller's duds. All right. I just started, right? I'm brand new to this. And this guy reaches out and he played me so bad. Like looking back, like I got played so bad. He's like, oh yeah, I'm friends with like Caleb from Scout IQ and things like that, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, don't you know, I pick up, a car full, dude, it was all 100% duds, not a single except from the whole bunch. And like, I mean, it is what it is, but there are ways you can vet people. I always say, like, look for reselling terms, right? If somebody's like, oh, great for reselling, like that's a red flag to me. Like, first off, like, why are you saying it's great for reselling? Yeah. Clearly you know something's going on. If they say it's great for reselling, 100% avoid it. I usually ask for a picture or two, and believe it or not, one time they left their eYoYo scanner in the picture they sent me. So you know they're scanning this stuff, right? You got to do a little bit of research, but just like look into the person, look them up on Facebook, look up the phone number, ask for a few pictures. If it's on a bookcase and it looks like it hasn't been cleaned or moved in a while, like you're good to go. Like you just gotta vet the sources the best you can, and sure it'll happen, where you probably run in, like me and get suckered, but it's not a big deal, especially if you're doing it for free. You just lose a little bit of time, and hey, you live and you learn. You're always going to be learning in this business, no matter what.
How do you get rid of excess books?
You got to donate them. You got to have. My biggest thing is a lot of people always want to get right into bulk books. It's like you need a plan. Like if I drop the Gaylord of books off at everybody that's here in the chat's house, you wouldn't know the first thing to do with it. You would scan it for Amazon, and then you'd be sitting there with 90% Gaylord of duds. I always say you got to keep the inventory moving, because if you don't, you're just going to get burned out. If you sit there and you see the same crap that's not worth anything, donate it. Find a local thrift store, local church sale, anything like that. Don't chase like the pennies either. If it's, you know, if you're going to make 50 cents when you scan it, if you're going to make $1 when you scan it, don't waste your time, because like Romer said, when you scan it, what you see is probably nowhere near what you're going to get. I always like to say it's probably 25 to 50% less than what you scanned it at is probably what it's going to sell for, because we know how Amazon is a race to the bottom. So yeah, it happens, but you got to keep it moving. I donate everything that's not worth it. And that's another way you can have a relationship, right? Maybe there's a local bookstore. You take your duds there, let them take what they want for free. All of a sudden you have a relationship with them. Maybe you get store credit. And I know you were real big on crushing McKay's. I got a second in Charles by me, right? So you just take all your books to a trade-in place, and they're going to give you cash or store credit. For me, I take the store credit. I buy myself stupid T-shirts like this, you know, and I do Christmas shopping with my duds, basically. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
When sourcing books, is it better to advertise that you'll clean out people's books for free, or is it better to offer to put people's used books as the main, or to buy people's used books as the main advertisement? What's your experience with that?
I've done both. So I used to pay 15 cents a pound for books. DVDs I pay 10 cents for, still on Craigslist per piece, and CDs I pay 20 cents for. Now I do free book pickup because I've kind of got a reputation in my area. So I kind of moved away from paying 15 cents a pound, but even at 15 cents a pound, you're probably never going to lose. I can't tell you one time where I went and bought, you know, a lot of books for 15 cents a pound and wound up losing money. Just do research. See if there's a Romer in your area posted on Craigslist, Facebook, Nextdoor. And if there's not, then go the free route because you're the only person there. But I had somebody else that was posting free pickup, so I paid for mine, and I never lost out. I mean, 15 cents a pound, you can get 1,000 pounds of book for $150. Like, you're never going to lose.
100%. Jeanette says, I did that and got 400 DVDs for free from an older lady. Guys, if only 2% of those are good, she still has, what is that, 8 DVDs? And if those each net $10, $80, what's the ROI on that? It's infinite because it's free.
For free. And don't think people won't sell you DVDs for 10 cents. Like, I've probably bought over 10,000 DVDs at 10 cents a piece. Nobody else buys DVDs. If we all go on Facebook right now, you'll see a lot of people trying to sell DVDs and Blu-rays. They'll never sell, and sooner or later they're going to come to you and be like, "Hey, just give me the 10 cents a piece. I want them gone." And that's really what you're going to wait for when it comes to the DVDs.
We got all day FBA saying any good bulk leads. I have a 53-foot semi-trailer ready to fill. Hey,
all your local libraries. Every single library doesn't have enough staff, and they have an excess of books coming in the door every single day being donated.
That's actually really, really good advice, because those books are going to be pretty good. Because like I was saying, my number one technique for finding books isn't necessarily Nextdoor or Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. It's people's houses. And where are the books coming from that are in the back of the library? They're from people's houses. They're donations. So you're going to have much better success there than going to a thrift store and buying books from them. Even in bulk, because a lot of thrift stores are in the business now of scanning books and stuff. But libraries aren't really too much about. Some libraries are, but libraries have better things to do a lot of times. And so if they're getting raw donated stuff that hasn't been picked through, that's a great place to start.
Volunteer. Friends of the library. So all you got to do is show up, volunteer, and you better believe the libraries I work with, I help them set up their book sale. And guess what? I get to scan the whole sale before it's even open to the public. I mean, guys, if you're just out in thrift stores, and even if you're going to some of these library sales, I already got you beat. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I'm playing a different game than a lot of people. You can't just rely on these thrift stores because they have a used book guy. If it ain't me, it's somebody else in the area that decided to have one conversation about what they do. And a lot of these places, the books are heavy. They don't want to deal with them. They want them out the door right away. So if they can say, "Hey, Romer, you want all the books? Just give us $5 for every box." And you're like, "Yeah." So every book that comes in doesn't get scanned. It's yours to scan. Just start thinking outside the box. Do you have any other back doors other than the library? Yes, I have a thrift store as well that is a back door, and it is a religious store. So they don't sell video games. So guess where all the video games go? They go to my pile because they are a religious store. They don't want to sell video games. They don't want to sell violent movies. So a lot of the stuff just goes basically to me to scan. So I do have other backroom access besides the library. And like I said, there's people that have, multiple Goodwill, Backroom Access, Savers, Dollar Trees, everybody out there that really is putting in the effort to have conversations about what they do. You're basically, it's a cheat code for this business. And if you're not doing it, sooner or later, you're going to get burned by the thrift stores, because the prices are always going to go up.
Awesome. We'll get a couple more questions and then we'll move on to online arbitrage with John. Let's see here. Jeanette's hustling the store credit. She got $100 from the store. Avery, I'm not sure you know this method yet. The books I get are textbooks and religious books. I will send a message. All right, hit me up. On those $400 free DVDs, a pawn shop gave me $100 for duds. Yeah, it's nice. They wanted to get people in the store, and they would possibly buy other things besides the 25-cent DVDs from me. Yes, sir. Tim says, are there any good tutorials out there for navigating Amazon Seller Central and reading Keeper charts? Joji Davenport has a ton of good Keeper videos on his video. As far as Seller Central goes, I mean, what do you need specifically? Let us know.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Final words here when it comes to having a media business overall. Start thinking differently than everybody else. Just because you see the content of thrift stores doesn't mean that person doesn't have other things going on. My best source is going to be my library and my backroom access because it's unscanned inventory. Spend the $20, $50, $75 if you get the card magnet. Get the flyers made. The flyers will cost you 60 cents a piece if you do color. If you do black and white, they're only like 20 cents a piece. Hang these up everywhere around your town. And I promise you, word of mouth will spread. You will be the media person. And you won't have to be chasing around the thrift stores. You won't have to be dealing with other scanners that are like rude and ignorant that sit in some of these thrift stores all day. And you will make 10 times the amount of money they do. And it won't be nowhere near as many scanning, nowhere near as much work. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out here. I'm on YouTube as well. Unfortunately, I can't hang around for the question period at the end. But as always, I answer all the YouTube comments and everything. And I appreciate you having me on, Romer.
100%, brother. Thanks so much for dropping that knowledge, and have a good dinner, man.
Appreciate it. Everybody have a good one.
Subscribe below. Subscribe to Mike's channel. All right, let's get John up here. What up, John? Side hustle. How we living?
Living good. How are you living?
Pretty good. You ready to show the $6 how to make some money from the living room flipping products other than books?
Hell yeah.
Supplements. Tea, Band-Aids, everything. All right, brother. You wanna share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And everyone that's just tuning in, John started selling used books. Then he graduated to bulk books, and now he does online arbitrage, doing over $60,000 a month. And he'll be cracking six figures every month during Q4. I've watched him grow over the years. I watched him quit his job. And so it's super cool and inspiring watching this journey. So I'll get your screen up here. And I'm going to light a cigar up, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Good deal.
And up next, we got Diana Hernandez. I'm just kidding. We have next, we got the Money Badger. All right, let's get it.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Still good?
Yep, still good.
All right. So I'm going to show you guys.
Big fat heads. Let's see.
You
like that?
From books to online arbitrage.
Perfect. Yeah.
I am going to just kind of give you a little brief background of my journey, how I kind of got started, and basically pros and cons of books versus online arbitrage, and then how you could find products. So let's get into it. So this was my very first shipment of books. It wasn't wasn't a great idea. I only sent like 8 books in, but I wanted to see proof of concept. That book, The Art of Demotivation, that is no longer profitable, or the last time I checked it wasn't. But I paid $2 for that book and ended up selling it for $40. That was, I think, the second or third book I ever sold. Then I just kind of went into thrifting books, hardcore. That's me at a Goodwill. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. The first year I did books, I was doing it part-time. It wasn't really working that hard. I was able to do like close to like 75K in sales. Then the following year, finally cracked 100, and that was really just thrifting on the weekends, really. Then I got into bulk books quickly. I had 2 storage units at a bulk source. I was working out of there, and then I eventually quit my job. Got this 4,500 square foot warehouse, had a forklift, had workers, had all that stuff going on for me. I thought I was as cool as this guy over here. But big problem, COVID happened. Amazon basically stopped accepting books and said you could only send, products that were basically, they were looking for COVID. So like health products, beauty products, stuff like that. So I had then they kind of limited us on restock. So this was unlimited for me. And then when it cut down to about 7,000, I started to get a little nervous. This would eventually go all the way down to about 4,000. And once that happened, I had to start merchant fulfilling. And I kind of came to the realization in my head, it's like, I never want to be in this situation again. I had this huge warehouse lease I had to pay for. Now I have to change my whole business to merchant fulfilling. And I'm like, this is not why I started to sell on Amazon. For those of you who don't know what merchant fulfilling is, that means I have to store the books in my warehouse. And if a customer buys it, I have to ship it to them. I'm responsible for all that. And that is not why I got into selling Amazon. I went to the Miami Seller Conference. I had an inkling about online arbitrage. You probably know most of these people in this photo. I kind of helped some of them sell books. In turn, they helped me, especially Miles and Warner, kind of transition into online arbitrage. And that's what I do now. So there's the online arbitrage versus books. You can see here, this is an old screenshot of a Scout IQ screen. Scanned 194,000 books. This is my seller amp. So this shows that we've, as a team, looked at 133,000 items. So it's just very different. The accept rate, depending, as you get better at online arbitrage, your accept rate could go through the roof. You're able to replenish stuff. We'll get into that in a second. But the point being here is you have to, either way, whether it's scanning books or looking for online arbitrage products, you need to be able to continue to look through them, because there's only a small percentage that are going to be good or valuable, and you have to have the patience to go through them. So why choose online arbitrage over books? For me, it's more scalable. I can buy more than one. So when you're scanning or thrifting books or buying them on Facebook Marketplace, usually you only have one source. So if you come across a college student that has textbooks, they don't usually have 20 of one textbook. If they do, they're probably counterfeit. So you should probably stay away from that. So scalability, I could buy 10 of something, 20 of something, 30, 40, 50. And I don't really have to do any additional work to do that. Outsourcing prep is super easy. The labor, it's less labor in a better setting. I'm looking through hundreds of products in a given day that a VA has sent me, and sitting in an air-conditioned room. When I was scanning thousands of books, I was in a thrift store. It's hot in there, or at a storage unit or a warehouse, standing up all day. It's just not what I want to do. Some of the cons of online arbitrage is capital. So it's more capital intensive for sure. It's getting a little bit more competitive, but once you kind of know what you're doing, you kind of work around that. Travel. When I was doing books, I had to travel all over the place. For OA, I don't have to travel anywhere, so it's great. Some of the cons also of books is you're on a retailer schedule. For me, I could source if I wanted to at 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. I could do it early, which I tend to like to do. But when you're thrifting books or going to libraries, right, the library is not going to be open probably past like 6 or 7 o'clock. If you're working a full-time job, that's a big problem. Like Joji was saying, He has a kid, so he's sourcing like 10 p.m. at night to maybe midnight. If he was doing thrift stores, like he wouldn't be able to do that. And another kind of books is you need a lot of space. Online arbitrage, I'm sending everything to a prep center, so I don't have to worry about space at all. So how do you find products with these juicy profit margins? Number one, all you need is SellerAmp and Keepa. Those are the two tools you really need to get started. For under, I don't know, let's just say they're each $20 a month. So for $40, you could get started up and rolling. So the best place to find profitable stuff is networking. I've shared leads with probably everyone in all of these pictures, and they've sent me leads in return. So networking on social media, Instagram, Discords, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. I've sent me and Jameson, we've sourced together, just like pulling up a sale, getting on a Zoom and just going back and forth. So we share a lot of leads, but getting to know people in the community is one of the best ways to get profitable leads. The second one is newsletters and social media. So Nike sent out this email today. They're doing 25% off 150 or 20% off 120. That is probably, unless you want to go and check these websites every single day, the best thing to do is be subscribed to them on email, on text message, anything and everything, because you want to be the first to know. They sent this at 9 in the morning. I always have a tab of my email open because people are constantly sending deals, and I want to be the first one to know about it. Just be careful with big sales like this because a lot of people are searching them. So that could lead to the price tanking. We will get to that in a little later. Also, Instagram. Instagram is a great place. I used to work in marketing. There's something called retargeting. And basically what that does is if you visit the site, they basically like put cookies, they pixel your computer. Fancy term, but basically if you leave the site and don't buy anything, they're going to try to serve you ads where you go next. So whether that's Twitter, this one was on Instagram today. I just took a screenshot of that. Sometimes it's for less. I've seen other you get an email saying, hey, if you come back and check out these items, we'll give you 10% off. There's all sorts of different stuff. But being on social media, being in these newsletter sites is definitely a great, great way to go and find out about all these sales and recent deals. There's a lot of flash sales, a lot of one-day sales. So you really want to be signed up for all this. You could literally just get a separate email account. It is not a big deal. And you always want to be shopping when there's sales. You kind of want to try to avoid paying full price for stuff. Next is brand private label products. I saw someone came out with a guide and included this brand. I try really hard not to kind of like blow up people's spots and kind of give away products. This person is very, very big, so this brand is most likely finished. So I decided to use that. So this is actually a Walmart pet brand. So every pretty much major retailer has their own brand. So Walmart, they also have Golden Rewards. So this is basically their like pet food line. So you could only buy this at Walmart. So the great thing about this is Walmart is not going to sell on Amazon because they are competitors. They don't want to sell on Amazon. And it's just not something they're going to do. So, but there are people who shop at Amazon that do not feel like going to Walmart or don't even know Walmart actually makes Golden Rewards dog treats. So this is a great opportunity. How do you find this? Google Walmart private label brands. There'll be a whole list of all the private label brands that Walmart does. I love this tactic because not a lot of people talk about it. And it's a great opportunity. Just think of all the major retailers. They all have private label brands, most of them. Be careful. Some of them will not let you sell them, or they'll like give you an IP complaint. If you have something like IP alert or know how to read Keepa charts well, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But this is a great strategy. The next strategy that goes with this is using reverse sourcing. So what reverse sourcing is, again, this is SellerAmp, what you're looking at. If you see these little green boxes here, those are basically all the FBA storefronts. Don't really want to pull anyone up. That's kind of why I just screenshotted it, or so I don't give away their store. But this is all the people. Maybe this guide kind of got out and the price is starting to go down. But if you were to click into this box, it'd bring up the person's entire storefront. And then you could see the different brands they're selling. So they're selling Nike, they're selling Nature Made, they're selling Crest, they're selling Under Armour. You see Equate, that's another Walmart brand that just they sell. And here's the golden reward. So they're selling 5 different kinds of these. And then you could see all the categories that they sell in and how many products they have. You can literally click into each and every one of these and see what products they have listed. And you can do the same for the categories. Again, this is one of my favorite ways to do it, because when you're just selling a store's private label, like there is no chance that they're going to compete with you on Amazon. So it's a great tactic. And the benefit of doing this, right? You saw that you got golden rewards, you got Equate from Walmart. Well, this person's also selling Nike, Nature Made, Crest, huge brands. So they are most likely, if they are buying from Walmart, they are definitely arbitraging. There's not many wholesalers that I know that are buying from Walmart as well. They're just really doing wholesale stuff. So it's a surefire bet that these people are doing online arbitrage and will have other profitable products. Though I know we could get like way more in depth about this, but I know a lot of people here are mainly selling books, but I just kind of want to give you a little taste. One of the biggest things is, this is one of my favorite quotes from Gary Vee. It says, greatness is born from consistency and doing what others aren't willing to do. You have to be willing to put in the work for this to work for you. Like I said before, we went through 133,000 different products. We probably, as we go, we get a lot better just because we know what not to look at. So that you just really, you can't make that full-time money, can't be making 6 figures a month if you're not putting in the time and the effort it takes. It sucks at first. If you guys sell books and you've been there, you know you scan thousands of books to maybe, like Avery was talking about, if you're just going to a thrift store, you're looking for 2 or 3%, which it's crazy, but you got to be willing to dig. And lastly, if you want to follow me, I have YouTube. I do a happy hour with FBA Michaela live on YouTube. I have Instagram. And then if you're having trouble with prices tanking, I've created a checklist that you guys could have for free if you just go to my website /tank.
/tank?
Yeah.
Oh, tank test.
Tank test list.
Okay, nice. Heck yeah, man. I appreciate that. I think a lot of booksellers are out there and they're kind of nervous to make the leap to OA. But, you know, we got people like T. Jones and John Side Hustle.
Yeah.
T. Jones running his business from Costa Rica. He's mainly doing wholesale now. But for the last year, 2 years, he's been doing OA. It gives you the freedom to travel. And it really gives you the ability to spend a lot, which is really cool. You know, you can run up. How much have you spent on OA in one day?
Well, I guess my biggest order was 67,000.
That's wholesale.
Wholesale.
Yeah. OA, you probably spent 10.
Oh, I thought you said OA.
Yeah, OA.
Or OA, yeah. So, geez, I'm out of it. I'm out of it. Less than 10,000. I haven't spent more than an OA.
Yeah, but on books, like we got a bunch of booksellers. Like it's hard. If you spend 10,000 on books, you have like 2 months of work to like go through all the books. With OA, you can spend 10,000, get it shipped to a prep center. Do you have any recommendations for prep centers or recommendations?
Not Tiger Lily. Definitely not Tiger Lily.
I will say that on every single episode. Do not send your stuff to Tiger Lily. We got Jenna in the house too, fellow go-to lister user over here. She's a book hustler as well. We're out here at the Costa Rica Mastermind. John, we got to get you out here on one of these trips.
No, definitely the next one.
Heck yeah. And also, guys, if you look above us or below us, we have the Rollo printer. We will be giving a Rollo printer away to one of you guys. All you got to do is have a go-to lister subscription. Go to gotolister.com. That's gotolister.com. You can get set up for a 100% free trial. This is everything you're going to get. You're going to get the Rollo printer. You'll get my repricing course. We'll set it up for you if you're confused. If you're not technologically savvy, this goes for everyone watching the replay as well. We'll set up your repricing course for you, your repricing template for you. We use a separate repricer. It's Channel Max. It's what Scott Needham uses. He's one of the top Amazon sellers. And we help you reprice your items up at night so you can make more profit. It's a $100 course, but it's free for all go-to-lister users. You also get my $400 book selling course with over 100 videos showing you how to find books, list books, how to scale your business to the next level. And you also get the 45-day trial. And I know a lot of people coming from John's world are probably inventory lab users. So you're probably a little scared of transferring your data over. If you have any trouble at all moving your data from inventory lab to go-to-lister, I will personally hop on a call with you and just go in your account and help you set it up. But you can have profit analytics. You can see how much profit you're making every single day. That's after Amazon fees. That's after, money you spent on the inventory. This gives you a true gross profit. This isn't including prep fees and like gas fees and stuff like that, but it gives you a pretty high level view of your business. Getting John's account set up pretty soon. John's going to be a go-to gang user. We'll answer a few questions real quick since we gave Mike some question Q&A time, and then we'll give like one or two questions here for you, John, and then we'll move on to the Money Badger, and then we'll do a group Q&A. So Elizabeth's saying, when you switch from books to OA, can they run simultaneously, or is it best to commit to one or the other? You can take that question however you want, John.
So I did it simultaneously. There did come a point where I got capped at about $20K a month OA, but that was running like a pretty big bulk book business. I would probably say if you're really concerned, if you don't need the money, I would just kind of fully commit to OA and just kind of make that switch because it's definitely a lot to learn. And that was kind of one of my mistakes. After I did fully commit to OA, I went from doing like 20K. The next month was like 40K. Then I went to 50, then to 60, and then I think it was 70, then 120. So it's definitely need to commit in order to kind of really blow it up.
Yeah. Baldy wants a t-shirt. I'll get you a t-shirt. Email us at support@gotolister.com for a t-shirt. That's just for Baldy only. I'll get you a large t-shirt. Where do I enter the go-to-lister drawing? All you got to do is go to gotolister.com, and then you click on free trial in the top right corner, and you'll be able to create an account for free, and then we'll have your email, and we only currently have a few people enrolled, so everyone who enrolls at the end, we'll do a giveaway for this Rollo printer here. So everyone who enrolls right now, you have a pretty high chance of winning this Rollo printer. Let's see what else we got here. What percent of your OA SKUs tank?
Now, not that many. When I first started, a lot because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Now I'd say less than like 10%.
Yeah, you guys can go through that. What was it? Side hustle.
The price tank checklist. There's a link in my Instagram.
Go to John's Instagram, that Side Hustle Experiment, and then click on his bio, and you'll be able to get that absolutely free. All right, John, we'll get you back on for the Q&A in just a few minutes here.
Cool.
Up next, thank you so much. Everyone drop a 1 in the chat for John if you got value out of that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, up next, we got the Money Badger coming all the way from Tennessee, my home state, and he's amassed a following of over 400,000 simply by documenting his journey on TikTok. He's one of my favorite TikTokers to watch. I met him before he even blew up on TikTok. We went to a bar together, and it's been super inspiring watching your journey, man, seeing you stay with it. I have respect for anyone in this game who's been in the business for years, because that means they figured it out. I don't care if you're full-time, part-time. If you've been selling on Amazon for years, obviously you're making money. And I'm excited for you to share today how to turn dud books and books that people think are worthless, books that aren't making money according to Scout IQ, Scoutly, all these apps, and you're able to turn them into a few dollars for them. So take it away, brother.
Thanks, Avery. I appreciate it. Actually, I'm here in Philly right now, though. So we moved a couple years ago from Tennessee to Pennsylvania.
Where are you from originally?
Originally from Philadelphia, but then my parents moved to Florida, and I lived there for like 18 years. So
you certainly do not have a Tennessee accent.
No, thank God.
Thank God.
No offense to any Tennesseans, but
do you want to share your screen at all, or are you gonna just?
I don't have any visual aids. I just figured I'd run through stuff. I wanted to really talk about how to get to 100,000, like how to make 100,000 very quickly, or as quickly as possible, and then how to monetize and squeeze as much blood from that stone as you can on the back end. Getting to 100,000, in other words, to make 100,000 in the book business isn't as hard as you really think it is, right? So when you're first starting out, it sounds like a really big number. It sounds like it's a task that you've got to undertake, but in reality, it's only like 14 to 18 books a day you got to sell. And the way that you get to that math is you figure out, you need an average sale price. It used to be $20 average sale price. It's probably closer to 25. Amazon's changed their fee structures. They've changed how much you can send in. Velocity has changed a lot for a lot of these items. And this translates across all of the Amazon ecosystem. So it's not just media. Once you understand the numbers of how Amazon works, you can really accomplish whatever it is that you're looking for. But average sales to make 100,000, this is to make, not to sell 100,000. You're going to need $356 a day, right? And that includes the buffer to take out your profit on top of just like Amazon's fees as well, right? So this is gross profit, not net. But that's 14 units a day. It's 14 of anything. It could be Band-Aids, it could be socks, it could be shoes, it could be books, it could be movies. That's at an average sale price of $25. If you drop that to 20, like it was old school, it jumps about 18 to 20, right? So figure 400 units a month that you have to sell. It doesn't sound like that much when you look at it that way, right? The best way to get there is to just understand that 80% of your profits are going to come from 20% of your efforts. So you need to figure out and isolate where those sources are that are providing you with that 20%. And then you need to push really, really hard on that. Build the relationships, go there consistently, go there at different times of the day when you're first starting out, different days of the week, figure out how that clock and how that mechanism really works before you try to get backroom access, before you try to negotiate pricing or anything like that. And I'll touch real quick on backroom access. A lot of you guys that are looking for backroom access, you don't necessarily have to look for a sweetheart deal. A lot of times I would actually recommend go the opposite direction because you want to do what other people aren't willing to do or haven't tried. So in this case, don't negotiate a lower price. In some cases, you might even want to offer to pay a premium above and beyond because you're getting the privilege of swimming upstream and seeing that inventory prior to your competition. Also, you want to take a look at where these stores are located, right? So thrift store locations, whether it be a mom and pop or a chain or a library, the location of that physical store really matters. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to have wealthier style books, so books that hold their value longer or sell for a higher dollar amount. Also, regions of the country. You may find, like in Tennessee, where I lived for a couple of years, is really, really religious. So a lot of the books you're going to find, if it's not a textbook, it's a religious book. So if you've got a large concentration of inventory in a specific niche, you need to pay attention to that. There's a reason for it, and there's got to be a way you can capitalize on those profits. So what type of inventory are you getting at these locations? If you're finding sources that are by colleges, you're probably going to find a lot more textbooks. If you're in a very rural area, you're probably going to find a higher concentration of really thin religious books, and those a lot of times can sell for $25, $35, $45. There's my biggest category of books that I sell, which is religious. I love the soft cover ones. I love the ones that are really thin, like pamphlets. They're really cheap. They're small and light, and you can fit like 60 of them in a box. So from there, you want to make sure you're building routines. And by routines, I don't mean 8 to 7, I'm going to go sourcing. I mean Are you sourcing and listing on the same day? Or is it better for you and your route to source maybe 4 or 5 days a week, and then on the weekends you do all your listing? It just depends on what works for you. Maybe you've got a very busy schedule. For us, we've got 5 kids, we've homeschool, so it's really hectic. So it's best for us to isolate certain tasks for different periods of the week, and then we can go back and we can do the other tasks, right? Then you need to really pay attention to like sourcing and listing versus administrative tasks. You asking me to hold on for a second?
I was telling that person they had a question. Can I print Amazon label with a regular printer and save up to buy a Rollo printer? 100%. I think a Rollo printer is going to pay for itself like in the first few months, but we'll get to more Q&A at the end. I just saw they did a super chat, so shout out to JP 3D Design. I'm not sure whose channel that's on. That might be on your channel. It might be on someone else's. I think it's on my channel, so I appreciate that. Anyway, back to the show.
Yeah, so you could definitely you could use like 30 up labels if you wanted to. You could print them off on like a regular printer, but like Avery was saying, a thermal printer like a Dymo or a Rollo is going to pay for itself time and time again because you're not having that ink expenditure. And that's part of building that efficiency into your business, you know, whether it's just like times of the day or how many employees you have or all that, you know, how much you're spending, everything down to the size of the box. You really want to narrow down and figure it out, right? Managing your expenses though on the back end are going to be what's really going to escalate your profit snowball, you know, much more quickly than, you know, it normally would if you just like throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks, right? So I like to say that like expenses are like fingernails. You want to trim them regularly. And this is also how you're going to combat dead stock that sits in your inventory, books that just haven't sold, that are just costing you storage fees, removal order fees. Like if you're taking care of these things on a regular basis and you understand the numbers of the category that you're operating in, you could do a lot more with your time, your money, and, you know, grow your business the way you really wanted to. Let's see. Now, a lot of people, when they get into selling books, they really want to get into bulk books, right? So to give you an idea, there's 96 million books on Amazon as of last month. That's total SKUs in the category.
I remember last time in Tennessee, what was that, 4 years ago now?
It was like 60 million, something like that.
We talked about doing a bulk book venture together, and then a year or two later, you ended up flying out west to process a bunch of bulk books.
Yeah, we built a relationship with what was it called? Not Better World Books. There's a book chain. It's not Better World Books. I can't think of the name, but it was like $5 a box.
Thrift
it was
books.
What is it?
Thrift books, Discover books.
Keep going. There's another one.
I mean, it wasn't like
it's based out of Texas. I forget where it was called though. It's based out of
Half Price Books.
Half Price Books. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can get a relationship with a big source like that, you know, sky's the limit, guys. The sky's the limit. But going bulk, right? So a lot of people want to go bulk. It may not be the right thing to do for you guys. You got to understand the size of the category you operate. And the better you understand those numbers, the better buying decisions you can make, right? So the profits that you're going to make on these books, I disagree. It's not necessarily when you sell the book. Your profits will be when you buy the book if you understand the numbers. So if you understand the size of the category, which means like if there's 96 million books in the book category, you need to be looking realistically under 1 million. The lower under 1 million you go, the higher the velocity of the sale is going to be for that book. So if it's 600K, 500K, that might sell 20, 30 times a day, right? So if you can get your hands on books that sell regularly, then you can buy them regularly. You know, you could just keep a list of certain books, and then all of a sudden you're not just searching for all these random books. You have a specific buy list that you can go, and then that's where you start to open up segues into online arbitrage, maybe even retail arbitrage, things like that, because you understand the size of the category. But with bulk, the reason I keep bringing up bulk, right? So that's the first logical step that a lot of you guys are going to fall into. You're going to be like, okay, cool. I understand how the process works. I understand how to send books in. Where do I get more books? I've got to buy more books. So I've got to go bulk. You don't want to do that necessarily. And the reason I say that is because 90% of them are going to be duds. You get a 7 to a 10% acceptance rate. So if a Gaylord has approximately 1,000 books in it, You've got 900 books you've got to figure out what to do with. And if this is a large scale or a small scale business, even if you're a cherry picker, we all have duds, right? So how can we monetize those duds? What can we do with them? Well, the very first thing that I love to do that worked really well for me and Avery is go into like places like McKay or St. Charles, because you could trade those books in that either didn't sell, won't sell, or can't sell. And a lot of times they'll give you store credit. And then with that store credit, you can source the store, right? So you spent $1, you gave it back to the bookstore, you traded it in, maybe they give you $4 store credit or $10 store credit in McKay's case. So sometimes it was really good. And then you take that $10, and even if the books are higher priced at that store, you're shopping with their money. And you're doing it with stuff you couldn't sell regardless. So it's really, really important for you to find a way to recycle that dollar as many times as you can.
I think you froze on us, but we can still hear you fine. I don't know if you look frozen to everyone else. Oh, there you go. You're back.
All right, perfect. Okay, so
go ahead.
You guys can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you good. We could hear you fine the whole time. It was just you were frozen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is probably crazy. But aside from trading books in that you can't sell to a thrift store for store credit, there's other creative avenues you can take. You could do a TikTok shop, and you could wrap these books in brown paper and write a title on it with a little caption about what the book's about, and do date night with a book. And you can sell it for 20, 30 bucks, and voila. Or you can do it locally, selling through Facebook Marketplace or eBay. It's another great option, happens all the time. You can log on to Facebook Marketplace and see it right now. Something that's worked for us in the past, and several people we used to know in Tennessee did this as their full-time business, is they would take the dust jackets off of their duds, and then they'd collect them and put them together, sorted by color. So then they would sell 5 or 6 of those books tied together with butcher's twine as decorum based on color. So people will like to decorate their personal libraries or bookshelves in their office. Maybe they like blue or red or white or green books. And if you go on eBay right now, you could find that there are decorum bundles of books that are selling for $20, $30, and $40 for 5 or 6 books. You're only restricted by your own creativity of what you can and can't do to monetize these duds. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, there's always donating them for a tax write-off, and that's a great option for the following year to have a good, solid strategy. I think you're able to donate. I have to update myself on the IRS code. Not financial advice, but I think it's up to 50% of your adjusted gross income. So it's something you should definitely look into and have a strategy in order to monetize that inventory.
Let's see what else we got here. We got Tim saying, I'm currently paying my first batch of long-term storage / disposal fees. How can I minimize these costs now and in the future?
Yeah, so Amazon switched their long-term storage fees, so it's not just I think 6 months and a year. I think there's 3 tiers now. I think it's 6 months, 9 months, and a year. Mm-hmm. And you really want to avoid having stuff sell at a year. Once you've got these long-term storage fees, there's really no way of getting out of them, right? You've got to pay them. But what you can do is you can plan for the future. So whether that means taking a closer look at the numbers, maybe you missed a piece of information. A lot of times when I first started out, I don't know about Avery or any of these other guys, but when I first started out, there was a lot of high flyers that I would send in and be like, well, the profit looked good. The sales rank's not too bad, but maybe the e-score or the days with sales or how often it sells, it was kind of iffy, right? And then eventually it just wouldn't sell. So you have to take into account not only your buy cost, but how much you're paying in storage fees along the way. So you can do 2 things to minimize that. You can purchase inventory that has a lower sales rank or a higher days with sale count. So either way, it comes back down to understanding the numbers a little bit better, but try to build your business model around things that work a little bit better. And eventually, with doing that, you'll be able to have a full inventory turnover in 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, and I would add to that, keep track of what your average sales price is. And at GoToLister, we actually show you on a daily basis. My mentor, Caleb Roth, who actually is retired now at 35 years old, one of my biggest inspirations, he taught me the book business. And one of the things he said you should track on a weekly basis is, number 1, how many books are you listing? Number 2, what your sell-through rate is. So are you selling 20? You should be selling 20% of your books as a bookseller. If you're selling 10%, you should probably reprice a little bit more aggressively. If you're selling more than 20%, good for you, but consider pricing a little bit higher because your inventory is selling really fast. And the third thing was also check, thought I heard an echo, also check what your average sales price is. So here on GoToLister, we show your average sales price. You can see Jenna here. She gave me permission to share her account. She's at $24. She's around $20 ASP, $17. That's pretty healthy. If your ASP as a cherry picker is like $10, that is bad news. I mean, as a bulk seller, different story, but $10, we're approaching, that's damn near a break-even book these days. So, really try to keep that average sales price higher. And then also somebody is asking about min-max prices. So you can actually add your min-max price directly in GoToLister. So as you're listing, you can change your min-max price. You have to go to settings and then enable this. But what I recommend all booksellers do, this is something I've been doing recently, William, is I add my min price at $10 starting out. So pricing rules, min-max rule, you can actually do percent rule. So you can do like 20% ROI minimum. This is what I do for my online arbitrage products. I don't want to sell a product for less than 20% ROI. GoToLister automatically sets that for you. But for books, what I've been doing is I've just been setting like a dollar amount at $8.50, actually $10 starting out. And then as time goes on, I'll settle for $8.50, which is getting pretty close to break even for books. I mean, $6 books selling on FBA now these days is like losing you money. So $6, $7, $8, depending on the weight and size of the book, that's break even point. Jenna, I showed them all your ASP, your average sales price. You're a good example. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 17, 20 bucks most days. It's pretty good. So keep it up. And so remember, guys, if you want to enter for the contest, go to GoToLister.com. Get your free trial for the fastest listing software on the planet. This is if you email us, Reselling Bootcamp at support@GoToLister.com, that's gonna put you in the giveaway for this Bolo printer here. You'll be in the giveaway for this. I'm gonna give it away to one of you guys right now. I think we got 8 people enrolled right now. And for everyone watching the replay, you're also going to get these other goodies that I'm talking about. And everyone who signs up today, you'll get my repricing course done for you. We'll actually set it up for you once you sign up for GoToLister, 100% free. You just need a Channel Max account. You'll also get my course, which has over 100 videos step-by-step showing you how to grow your book business. This is usually $400. You get it absolutely for free. And guys, be sure to go through everyone's links below. If you're watching from the Money Badgers channel or Joji's channel or whoever, they'll get a kickback at no cost to you if you go through their link. Everybody will get the 45-day extension if you just email us Reselling Bootcamp at support@GoToLister.com. So I'm going to bring on these other speakers, and I'm going to bring on John first because we got someone talking some trash in the comments here. We got Chris saying that FBA via OARA is one of the worst online business models. What's your response to that, John? Oh, you gotta unmute yourself first, brother.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe
I don't know.
I feel like some people who do that, I
I've made
don't want to make assumptions. They basically tried it for like a week and bought like something off of Twitter or something, and it tanked, and then
yeah, you got to put the work in, guys. This is not easy work. This is very hard, difficult work. You have to put the time in. You have to put the effort in. You have to put the hours in. Every one of these speakers here is not going to tell you it's easy. It's hard work. And this person probably put less than 20 hours in. If you put 20 hours of sourcing, I guarantee you'll find at least something. And then, we know this is bullshit because we know so many people making so much money with all these models, but they put a lot of work in to get where they're at. Taylor Jones.
I also think too, like people don't understand, like I can't remember what it is, but like Walmart's profit margin is like 2 or 3%. Like we're making like 10, 12, like 15 like percent. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Like there's no business brick or mortar you could start for that and make that kind of money.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm trying to get more book people to do OA because I really do think that online arbitrage. I think book selling is a gateway drug, selling on Amazon, and then my brother here, Taylor Jones, is doing like 50K profit months, and I watched him start from nothing. I met him on TikTok, actually. And back in the day, I would watch the Money Badgers videos because I saw him blowing up, and then Taylor popped up and became like best friends with him. And just seeing these people over the years grow their business models. Most people start with books and then they start doing OA. And some people do really well with OA. Like Miles is crushing it. You're crushing it. Joji's crushing it. And you guys are all doing different things. Steve's crushing it. Steve's doing eBay to Amazon. And so the sky's the limit. Now Taylor's doing wholesale. I'm doing wholesale. I was doing 25K profit a month, but my Amazon account's suspended. That's another story. I'm not going to make this a sob story about me, but Amazon, Amazon's Amazon. They do what they got to do. So Joseph says I started using GoToLister, major time saver. Thank you. Appreciate that. My triggers were default, and it cost me a lot. I think starting out, tell me what you guys think. Like, William, what do you think people should do with their triggers starting out? Would you raise them?
I subscribe to the idea that eventually you should have such a command of how the numbers operate on Amazon. You don't need triggers.
Yeah.
Starting out, default's great.
I think so too. I think make the mistakes, guys. Go buy the inventory. Go send it to Amazon. Like, you're not going to lose money with books.
Right.
You're not.
That's why books are such a great segue to start, because there's so little skin in the game. The margins, I mean, I'm getting gross margins of 40 to 50%. You can't find that anywhere else. And it's forgiving. It's very forgiving. Like, at what point can you say that you could drop ship or private label or anything like that, where you're buying something for $1, $2, and then you're selling it for $20, $25, and then if it doesn't sell, then you've only paid the $1 or $2 plus maybe $4 in storage fees.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like very low chance of getting shut down unless you're Roamer the Roamer and other things like that. So, Peanut Butter, I'm going to let John take this one. I sent invoices to Amazon and they won't approve me in restricted categories. What's the best way to get them approved?
Keep resubmitting them. Eventually they will. Submit at different times. So if you get rejected at it's 8 o'clock here right now at night, try submitting it tomorrow at 12 p.m. You want to try to catch someone on a different shift. Some people, I don't know, that's what I've heard anyway. I've never had them rejected before. Or you could also try annotating it, get a tool like Snagit or something, highlight, say, hey, this is the ASIN, this is where I bought it, and just really keep doing it. And worst comes to worst, call them. Super annoying, but I've definitely had this problem. I've called them hey, I submitted, what am I doing wrong? And just keep asking questions, and they're going to tell you exactly what you want to do. Just write that down. I literally just include that language. I'd be like, hey, talk to someone. They said this, this, and this, and then it usually goes through.
100%. And also make sure that you have what they actually want. So look at that 10 or 5-point checklist, whatever, when you go to actually upload the invoice or receipt. Receipts work better these days than invoices, it seems like. You can get a Kohl's receipt for Nike and get ungated practically instantly. They use robots now to ungate it. But make sure your address is the same as your Amazon selling account. Make sure you have 10 units in combined total, and it should work. If it's not working, you're probably doing something wrong. So
I'd also say another tip is to name the file. I always do invoice for the ASIN dash whatever the listing is on Amazon. Those exact words.
Perfect. Rachel's saying, can I enter again for another chance? 100%. All my GoToLister users every week. One time we had the same person win the printer 2 weeks in a row. You can't have too many Rolos. You can use a Rolo for printing shipping labels. You can use a Rolo for printing birthday cards. You can use a Rolo. Just have all your different Rolos around the house. Book labels, everything. When you use a repricer, do you skip putting min-max prices into Amazon? So what we do for our books is I just upload all my min prices to Channel Max manually. I just have my team drag and drop 10, and we just make $10 the minimum price. Joji, what do you do for min-max prices? GoToLister has min-max prices now, Joji. All you got to do
is it really? Oh my God, that's crazy. I just go into Be Cool and I do it manually still. I have a spreadsheet where I keep all my target prices, like sell price, and I just open up the ASIN on Be Cool and then just reevaluate the minute max price. So what I need to honestly do is get the minute max price recorded on the spreadsheet when I buy the book, and then have it so that I can automatically upload it to GoToLister. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll probably integrate with Be Cool one of these days. Currently, Channel Max is kind of like our partner, but I really like the Be Cool guys. I just need to test out that software more. GoToLister does not work in the UK. Keep asking, and we might make it available. We're trying to get to 500 users here in the US first. I'm not drinking alcohol until I hit 500 users, guys. So give me a break. I'm out here in Costa Rica. They're all getting drunk, but I'm here shooting YouTube live trying to get more GoToLister users. I make money with FBA for almost 3 years. Thanks to Avery's course. Appreciate you. It's 100% free for all you guys if you sign up for GoToLister. And that goes for everyone from everyone's channels. If you have a GoToLister account, we'll give you access to my course that I used to charge $400 for. I still charge $400 for it. People still buy this course for $400, but GoToLister users get it for free. I want to do OA. I'm just a little nervous to start. Rachel, we've been talking about this since I was in Barcelona last year. Get on it. Watch, John Seidel's experiment. Watch his podcast once a week. You'll get it in your brain that you'll understand that him and Michaela are making money from this, and you'll get more confidence in yourself. Go subscribe to Joji's. Actually a really good segue into online arbitrage, I feel like, because it's still books. If you understand books, Joji's going to be able to teach you how to make money flipping books from Amazon to Amazon, from eBay to Amazon, different websites. Help me out. I'm ready. What do you need help with? What happens to our inventory if there's a return? Does it go back in our inventory, or are we out of luck with that? You want to take that, Money Badger?
Yeah, so if you get a return, especially if it's a book, but really anything, like if it's in sellable condition, it goes right back in your inventory and then it gets sold again. I had something that sold and got back and sold and got back, sold and got back like 3 or 4 times and just kept going, Eventually
you just lost a bunch of money on that item.
Yeah. It is what it is, but that's how it works. If it's not sellable, it's damaged in some way, or the customer complains that it's been damaged, like they'll send it back to you if you request it, but it'll go like stranded because it's unsellable or whatever.
Yeah. Nick's saying, so does GoToLister reprice books as well? No, we help you price your book more intelligently up front. Repricers in general suck. So what GoToLister does is we turn it purple for you. If you see a purple book while you're listing, that means it has no FBA offers or few FBA offers, or at least the software thinks so. So if you check and you see, hey, there's not that much competition, and this is a fast-selling book, you should probably go watch some of Joji Davenport's YouTube videos and then price the book a little bit higher. I guarantee you guys, if you just do this 3 or 4 times a month, and even if you only get 3 or 4 books that sell for an extra $10 a month, that's going to be $30, $40, $50 extra profit in your pocket every single month. So, but what we do is I give you my complete repricing template that I personally use with Channel Max that was inspired by, watching Amazon sellers in the game. I've learned all these different strategies. It's a simple strategy. If you guys want to read the whole blog about it, go to romertheromer.com. And there's a blog that teaches you. It just says what my repricing strategy is. And if you guys agree with it and you use GoToLister, we will actually set it up for you 100% free. You guys do have to pay for a separate software, though, and that's Channel Max. So I signed up for GoToLister, but support email isn't working. It's support@gotolister.com, and it should work. Email us. Everyone email us Reselling Bootcamp, and we'll get you that 45-day extended trial, and we'll put you in the lineup for the Rolo printer giveaway, which we'll do here in just a few minutes. I'm having my team add up all the emails that we're getting in. What happens if our inventory, we already answered that one. Can Joji explain the first step to take on Keepa to find books that have a price drop? We might have to get some screen share action in here.
Yeah, screen share, if that's possible.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I saw you checking your sales earlier on the screen. You never took it away, and I saw you going through your orders.
Oh, I did? Yeah. Oh, I did. That was my bad. Okay, let's see. Present. All right, here we go.
All right, 1 second. Let me.
All right, let's see. Can you see now?
Yeah. I'll put
Okay.
it up there.
Yeah. So the first way is or it's not really the first way. One of the ways is just to use Keepa Deals. So Keepa Deals can be used for any category, but you just type in Keepa.com, and then there's a tab called Deals. And the whole point of Deals is Keepa's trying to scrape all of Amazon's data to figure out for every product in every category, is there any product that's seen a one-time large drop in price, whether that be a DVD, whether that be, a sports item, home and kitchen, like it doesn't matter. So specifically, you would set up the parameters that I have set up here. So because I sell used books, I'm looking in the book category, but you could do this for CDs and vinyls, clothing, for pretty much any of these categories. I'm looking for used books specifically. And if you go over to my YouTube channel, like I have specific videos like dedicated just to like keep a deal. So that's what you're interested in.
Go subscribe, guys. Go subscribe to all these speakers. They're out here helping you guys for 100% free. Subscribe to them. They're all good people. I've been watching them for years. And if you guys want to subscribe to me too, feel free.
Yeah. So I mean, right now you can choose what you want the drop interval to be. So we are trying to see a book that has seen in this case, a drop in price over a 1-day period. And under the ranges, I have it set to 30% or more. So I'm looking for a book that's dropped today by at least 30% in value. And that dollar amount equates to at least $25 or more. So essentially, I'm trying to find a book that's dropped by $25. That's at least 30% off, essentially. And right now, the price range is between $0 and $34. That's what you could pick it up for. And I look up to sales ranks of 3.5 million because kind of what Bill is talking about is like book category is 96 million books. So even though 3.5 million seems like a terrible rank, like it's honestly not that terrible. Like, I mean, it's still a book that can sell a few times a year. And if it's a book that could potentially sell for $100 or more, I mean, it might be worth waiting. And
if there's no FBA competition and you're the only FBA offer and you match low price, for a 3.5 million ranked book, you probably shouldn't price it too much higher than the low price. Even though I've done that before and I've had success with it. If you're a prime offer, people are going to buy from you,
Yeah.
I think you also take into consideration like the rank if there's been no supply.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. So that's a great point by John's. Like a book, right? If there's nobody listing the book for sale, how is the sales rank going to improve? Like it's impossible to buy the book. So that's also another reason. So, I've sorted this by newest first. So you can see that 6 minutes ago, this book dropped in price. This is a book you wouldn't buy, but you see its price dropped from $150 down to about, $12. But this is not a book you would buy because Keepa shows that it's the lowest used price over the last like 5 years is basically $9. And it doesn't, there's very few sales rank drops. So, this is a book that potentially it looks better because, there's multiple sales rank drops, but still today's price at $18 is still kind of actually a little bit more expensive than what it should be selling for or what it was selling for in the past. So even that's a book you want to go for, but that's Keepa Deals. It's probably the easiest way to source of the three because you don't have to set up, hundreds or thousands of trackers. You don't have to figure out how to use Product Finder. So I would recommend using that. It's really a great way to find great books.
Awesome. How about these crickets here in Costa Rica? Is audio picking that up like crazy?
I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, I wasn't sure. They're like super loud here. So
it got super dark there, super quick.
Yeah, dude, check out this view. It's gorgeous. See if you can see the sunset behind me.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this Airbnb is ridiculous. We didn't even make a profit this year on this event because we spent so much on the Airbnb. How many units do you need to sell on average to hit 10K sales per month? I'll let John take that one.
You need to sell on average at 10K in sales. It really depends on what you're selling. If you're selling like $50 products, you just have to go out and do the math. It's going to be a lot less. So you'd have to do
200, right?
Divided by 10,000.
$50 product would be like 220.
Yeah.
A $20 product is 500. So it just depends on what you're selling. Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends. If you're doing books, that's a hard number to hit. Doing OA, that's a really easy number to hit.
Just sign up for GoToLister. How do I enter the drawing for the roll printer? All you got to do is email us, Reselling Bootcamp at support@gotolister.com. And my team, they're making a spreadsheet right now, so they'll add you to the list. Everyone, be sure to do that. All my existing GoToLister users, you can do that too. You don't have to sign up just today. And everyone watching the replay too, you'll get the free courses I mentioned, the 45-day trial, if you email us Reselling Bootcamp. Let's see. Books of various kinds are great, and it's knowledge. Undefeatable product. You are moving that, which in some sense is always in demand. Knowledge, learning, information, profit. People who like reading books, and they're not going to stop buying physical books. I still buy physical books. I overpaid for this book that I bought in an airport. I also use Be Cool. Downside, it takes a lot of time to set prices when you're sending 200 plus items a week. Well, I don't think it should be that complicated. I mean, now GoToLister can automatically set your minimum price. Even if you're not using GoToLister, you probably know what you want to sell it for, and then you should probably just set a minimum price at like 20 or 30% ROI. Joji, what's your take on that?
Wait, on Be Cool, say it again.
On Be Cool, he's like, it just takes a lot of time to set prices when you're sending 200 items.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that is the next step in my business, is that when I buy books, I do record them on a spreadsheet using the Seller Amp Google Sheet integration, but I need to also include min and max prices so that I can literally just take that entire spreadsheet and upload it to Be Cool, so that min and max prices
We're actually coming out with an integration with Seller Amp. So we got Seller Amp drunk on the yacht in Miami, and they said that they would integrate with us. And I think part of the integration is I'm going to talk to Joji, John, and a few other people and see what they want for online arbitrage people. But I think what we'll do is we'll take the Seller Amp lead, throw it in GoToLister. So when you go to list it, it'll automatically have your list price because you know what you want to sell it for. And then you'll likely have already entered your min price. But if not, GoToLister post that for you.
Another thing you could do is if you put the price you paid and the price you want in your SKU. I don't use Be Cool, but I use something else. So I just look at my SKU. I don't have to go back to anything. I just know what I want and what I paid. And you can just
smart. Is it worth reselling books on Amazon from the UK? What's your opinion? I know a few Amazon UK booksellers, less competition, similar to Canada. I know a Canadian bookseller doing almost $1 million a month. Vishal, he was on my podcast recently. Guys, if you put the work in, like check your city, see if there's opportunity there. Like if you live in the middle of nowhere in the UK, like I'm not going to tell you go grind hard and you'll have success with books. Like no, you should probably do something else. But go give it true effort, and if you think there's possibility, maybe you live near London or some city with a potential source, then get after it. But if not, move on to something else.
Also, one thing I want to add about that as well is just because you don't live in the U.S. doesn't mean you can't sell in the U.S. marketplace. So
that's true.
There's tons of online book arbitrage. There's actually, like, for my YouTube channel, like a large percentage of my audience members don't even live in the U.S. They just have a prep center in the U.S. So you could totally live abroad and sell in the Amazon marketplace by doing online arbitrage. You just need a prep center in the U.S.
Yeah, you should also look into setting up the NARF program on your account, so your North American remote fulfillment, because we did like 10,000 a month in Canada and Mexico, and it's just passive because they'll fulfill it internationally, and you just got to send it in the same you normally would. So it's definitely extra money you're leaving on the table if you're not looking into that.
Rachel showing you some love, Joji. Watch all your videos.
Let's go. That's so cool, Rachel. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
William, we need to get you to post some more on YouTube, man. You got to get that YouTube content.
Yeah, I know, guys. I'm sorry.
you take every TikTok and post it as a short. I doubled my viewership on YouTube by taking all my TikToks, which get shit views, and posting them on YouTube, and they get between 300 views, which is a lot of fucking people. People get mad when their video gets 300 views, but then they come to Miami Sellers Conference and they're nervous as fuck in front of 160 people. Right. It's like, come on, make up your mind. Do you want people watching you or not? And so I take these videos, I post them on, this is Gary V textbook, but you post them on TikTok, IG. This goes for everyone out there making content, Facebook Reels, and YouTube Shorts. One piece of content across 4 different platforms, and I'm getting between 300 views and 3,000 views on YouTube. I double my views on YouTube. Probably a lot of people are here just because of the shorts that I've been putting out. So, dude,
they also changed the shorts too. To the shorts to give you the monetization as well. It's a little different qualification, but it counts towards your monetization of your YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's so much potential. Yeah, you should be doing that. Like all your TikToks should be on. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. You amassed 400,000 followers.
I'll take it into consideration.
You should. Dude, literally, this is my rule. Every time I poop, I put out a piece of content. So you poop, you download, you're on the toilet, you download the piece of content from TikTok, you can recycle a piece of content, whatever. Just get something out there. It takes 15 minutes and post it across the 4 platforms. And
all right. You convinced me, I'll get it done.
All right. I mean, if I convinced you, I'm honored because I know you've been to Gary Vee's event. You've said this 1,000 times. So
yeah, it's like I'm sure you guys can attest to this. Like you get so wrapped up in like, trying to complete a goal or the next step of whatever it is you're trying to do, that like other stuff that's less important goes by the wayside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you also have to realize how important it is. Like all of us inspire people to take action, even if you don't realize it. And so, like, it is a big responsibility. And so, like, you're posting on one platform, you could easily be posting on other 3. you know your videos are making an impact. They're inspiring people. So, in my opinion, get it out there. Where are we sending the emails for the drawing? Support at GoToLister.com. I need to change my Roma the Rummer logo in the top right to support at GoToLister.com so people can stop asking that question. Question for Joji: how does Amazon Prep Center work? How often does a Prep Center send to Amazon? Does the Prep Center store your books until you've accumulated a certain amount?
Yeah, I use a prep center called Central Virginia Prep. There's also another one called Little Owl. Those are both great prep centers to use. Basically, the way it works is, I buy a book on Amazon or eBay. It gets sent to the prep center. It's literally just my name with their address on it. They receive the book. They have a spreadsheet that I basically record every single item that I bought on their spreadsheet, so they know exactly what they should be receiving. They open it up. They check the condition. They check to make sure that the condition matches. If there's any problems, they'll set it aside and say, hey, you need to provide us with a free, with a return shipping label so we can send it back to the person who sold you this book. Once you get usually around like 35 books, that's when it becomes economically like viable. Like it's the cheapest to send to Amazon. So once there's about 35 books, they create a shipment. And right now, usually they create a shipment like almost every day or every other day, usually like every other day. So it's usually like 3 or 4 shipments sent per week. And yeah, I mean, for the majority of books, I don't touch. There's some back here, GoToLister, by the way, guys. I use that to ship those books out there. So those are my replens. So all my replens, like inherently I buy a lot of books that don't sell very often, but they're super undervalued. So I'll let them sit on my shelf for 3, 4, 6 months, and then as they sell, I'll replen them. So that's just a whole bunch of replens over there with GoToLister.
Awesome. So for Joji's method, do we need more capital? I'll let John answer that actually. Yeah. What do you think, John? If somebody's asking that question, I'll just let you take like this question in the sense of like, how much money should people start with online arbitrage? Do you think book online arbitrage is better? And what should someone do if they have like less than $500?
Yeah, I feel like you should probably shoot for like $2,000 or $3,000 to start with like OA. Book online arbitrage. I actually did a little bit of it actually with Caleb's software, eFlip. It definitely requires a little more capital, but I mean, anytime you're buying books or anything for a higher price, it's just going to require more capital. I mean, if you're buying textbooks or you're trying to do that on Facebook Marketplace, I remember like walking around with like $5,000-$10,000 because just paying for like textbooks, it's just expensive, but like it's also worth it in the end. I think you have to think about that too. Like I'm so rusty, but like I don't know when the next textbook season is, but like you don't want to stockpile all your money if they're not going to sell for the next 2 or 3 months. You just have to keep that in mind to balance it out. But if you want to do traditional OA, I would say like $2 to $3 grand to get you started.
Yep. Awesome. What's your answer for that, Joji? What do you tell people if they're interested in doing book arbitrage?
Yeah, I would say if you have less than if you don't have very much capital, it's best to do like local pickups, like free book pickups to start building capital. So once you have like $1,000 to $2,000, you can get started slowly. I would say with my model specifically, like the average sales rank of every book that it sells like 1.1 million. So you have Bill over here saying like don't sell. I mean, not don't sell books under $1 million, but like if you're getting started and you're new and you haven't sold anything, like it's probably really great advice to stay under $1 million because those items are going to sell. But I guess it just depends on what sort of model you want. If you're going to try to be selling books a lot more quickly, then it might be a little bit different. But for me, because my books generally don't sell very often, it's quite capital intensive. Like I think I showed on my presentation that this year I've spent like over $45,000 on books, and that's obvious. That's my own capital. That's like no credit. That's like money that I've spent on books to sell on Amazon. So for me, it's like basically at the end, almost every time by the end of the year, whatever my revenue is, about a third of that actually comes out to profit because of my margin. So if you want to sell $300,000, you kind of have to spend $100,000. If you want to sell $1 million, you have to spend like $330,000. So it's kind of in a formula like with my model, like 3x.
Yeah. Definitely. We got a question. I'm going to let Money Badger take this on where to get bulk books. But before we get into that, we have 30 people who are applying for the Lolo giveaway. Remember, guys, everybody on this call, we have 90 people here. Every single person can apply for this giveaway. All you need is a GoToLister account, the fastest listing software on the planet. And all you need to do to get a GoToLister account is go to GoToLister.com. Click on free trial, put your name in, put your credit card information in. You won't get charged for 45 days as long as you email us, Reselling Bootcamp. That offer also is for everyone watching the replay of this. If you email us, Reselling Bootcamp, we'll give you all my courses for free. My team will email those to you, and we'll also extend your trial to 45 days. Be sure to go through all the speakers here's links. They'll get a kickback for coffee or whatever they want to spend their money on. Maybe it's more inventory, whatever it is. But I get this question all the time, and it's actually one of my better performing YouTube videos. I should probably shoot another one. But what's a good way to buy bulk books or DVDs, Bill?
I'm probably not the best person to ask. The reason
I think you know the answer. Like if somebody's sitting there. And
so here's a good answer, right? The good answer would be vet your sources. You could go super low hanging fruit. Go to the Goodwill outlet. Go to a local thrift store, library, or like a local government auction place or something like that. You can get them, but you don't know the quality of that source. You don't know if they're raw. You don't know where they came from. So it's like knowing where the books come from are going to be like the biggest barrier to finding a solid bulk source. It's not my business model. It's not something I've ever done, but that's the best answer I would give you is try it. Go buy a Gaylord from a local Goodwill outlet if you can, and then if it's good, see if you can get one that's not salvaged, something that's like not been through the outlet, that's just like gotten there, right? 'Cause sometimes they'll flip the bin and they'll put it on the table. People will go through it. They'll dump it right back into a Gaylord. They'll do that 2 or 3 times, and they'll keep sending the same thing out. So you don't want to buy something that's leftover comic books and ripped paper and stuff like that. But honestly, I think John's probably a better person to ask overall about bulk books, to be honest.
All right, John, let's hear it. Where do you get bulk books from?
So you could do it a couple ways. I think one of the best ways, no one ever talks about it, go to where clothing bins are placed. There's usually a book bin next to that, and there's always a number on that. I think there legally has to be. And you call that number, and you say, hey, I saw your book bin. I'm a bookseller, and I want to know if you have any supply. I know I used recyclers in the past. They're the best source because they actually hate books. They make a crap ton of money on clothing. Books is a hassle for them. They don't want to deal with it. You could also probably call like clothing bins too, because I know my supplier said that he started doing book bins because people are putting books in clothing bins. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity there. I've also did this where I donated duds to thrift stores and actually walked in and like handed them a box. I'm like, do you guys get like a lot of books and stuff? And they'd be like, oh my God, we have so many. I was like, would you be interested in like someone like buying them in bulk? They're like, oh, let me talk to my manager. I got to source that way. So it's just really just being like creative, but the recyclers will have the best content because they're not messing around with it. They're not scanning it. They're not doing anything like that. That's almost like the second best place. And it's all people's books that are dropping them in the bin too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's coming from an ex-bulk seller, so he's not hiding anything. A lot of bulk sellers, you don't see content from them because they don't want anyone stealing their sources. They're really secretive, just like OA sellers in a weird sense. You'll never see John showing his aces. Why don't you?
Yeah, I remember you used to get in trouble with Miles. Miles would be like in the private chat, like, Avery, stop showing this.
I didn't know, dude. Yeah. I just started OA, and I'm like, I think I found a fire lead, and like I found at the time, I won't even say what it was, but because it's still probably a fire lead. But I made it like the thumbnail of my video, and he's just like, what the fuck, man. Bill, when it comes to understanding the numbers and recycling the dollars, what were your strategies to maximize profits?
Yeah, so I mean, Amazon's changed over the last couple of years, and I think we've all kind of felt the pains, whether it be contractions of how much you're allowed to send in, or additional fees, or changing fees that existed. So unfortunately, we live in a world where if you're not fluid and able to like pivot, then you're dead in the water, right? So as far as sales rank goes, my average shipment that I send in is like 300K, 400K. So I try to stay under 750K, and my business model is fast turnover, right? So I have a complete inventory turnover every 6 months. That's including all the stragglers. I think I got rid of 34 books, last time I did a removal. But with that said, now you're hand to mouth. So it's really important that you squeeze every dollar out of there that you can. So if you've got fast moving inventory, you don't want to be aggressive when you're repricing. Also, those lower ranked books, those lower ranked items tend to have a lower sale price. That's why they're moving so quickly. It's very rare that you're going to find a $35, $45, $55 book or a $55 anything, that's got like a top 0.5% sales rank. It's very rare. So you want to make sure that you understand the relationship between your sale price and your sales rank. But squeeze every dollar you can out that way and try to find a balance. Understand that, like, if you do take something that's over $1 million or over $2 million, it's still going to sell. And what I found is that typically it'll take about a month per million in sales rank to sell. That's on average. It's not exact, but be prepared to sit on it for a little bit if it's a super high ranked book. And just know that when you purchased it knowing that it's going to generate you at least $10 or $20 to make it worth the time that it's going to sit there. You don't want to have something that's like $4 profit and have it sit there for a month and a half. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what the sales rank and the data is showing you about how often it sells. And that's the importance of knowing, like, Keepa and what the sales rank on Amazon means and what your profit potential could be, and understanding all your fees. And that's why I say profits are generated when you purchase the product, because that's where you've made all those determinations.
Awesome. So we got a winner here, guys. It's Jeanette Alford is the winner. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Does everyone approve of the way I'm saying her name? Jeanette?
Yeah.
Jeanette. Perfect. Jeanette Alford is the winner. We have your email. If you want to put some emojis in the chat for how happy you are about winning this Rollo printer, go ahead and do so. But we will go ahead and we'll shoot you over that Rollo printer. We'll Amazon Prime it to you in a couple days, and we'll see you guys in the boot camp soon. Give all the speakers a subscribe, drop a 1 in the chat if you appreciated the value. If you guys are watching the replay, remember, email us at support@gotolister.com, Reselling Bootcamp, and I'll give you both those courses I mentioned, the one for the repricing and also my book selling course, and you'll get a 45-day extended trial if you email us that. So appreciate all y'all for coming on. We got a lot of ones coming in the chat. And any last words from any of you, Joji, John, Bill?
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
It's great.
Best time to plant trees 30 years ago. Next best time is today. So go out
Shameless
and do
plug.
Always with the wisdom, man.
You guys get a chance. Subscribe, follow.
I'll address this real quick. Are you still suspended on Amazon? Anyone who wants to help out with this? Oh, we got TDH sneakers in the house too. Anyone who wants to help out with this, over the next few days, I will be releasing a more aggressive tweet storm. If I don't get my Amazon account back, I will be posting more on all my social media. If you guys want to learn more about it, just go to my Instagram and you can watch that video. But basically, Amazon suspended my account for being related to another account a few months back. We got that other account reinstated that it was related to, but they kept my account deactivated, and then they actually deactivated her account for being associated with my account, which means there's no actual reason for the accounts being deactivated other than being related to each other, which it's legal to have two different Amazon accounts if they have different LLCs, and they're just not accepting our plan of actions. So it's pretty crazy, pretty frustrating, and hopefully they do the right thing and give me my account back.
You got this, man. You got this.
Yeah, we'll get it.
All right, guys. Peace out. Have a good night. Subscribe to all these
Peace.
Have a good night.
wonderful speakers, guys. Much love.
See ya.